right. Is that working? Is that working?
I just forgot. I just forgot to tell you, Dirk, that I left my chat, my music thing. So we got all the German stuff on my stream.
Well, I don't really care. I'm fine with that. Actually, I think I can make the chat a little bigger so we can see that. Hey, YouTube! Hey, Composing Tutorials YouTube followers, and hey, Alex Twitch followers. I think
the
same back, right? That is actually a first. So the problem is the Twitch chat is not seeing YouTube, and YouTube is not seeing your Twitch chat. That is only like on the screen. But I mean, it's two independent chats anyway. So
yeah, we just have to coordinate a little bit.
Yeah, right. And as I have to fulfill a promise for Remco, because I told him that today is going to be Cerveza Day. So, and in regards to the year we're living in, obviously it's Corona.
Yeah, I can't compete. So I got some German, but it's no alcohol. I got no alcohol. So
boo.
Anyway, yeah.
But anyway, cheers. Thanks for joining, Alex.
Yeah, thanks for joining too. Thanks for having the idea, I should say.
So Alex is a lot quieter than. Okay, let me fix that.
I can just do something here. If that's better now.
I just raised your volume here as well. I hope that's better. So let me know how the audio with Alex is now on my stream. I hope it's better.
Yeah, let us guys know if it works all right.
The funny thing is I have like 3 screens right now in front of me. Maybe some can see that on my video, and everything is in a different timing. And I try to look at the chats.
Yeah, you don't have to be confused. You know, it's actually like seeing a screenshot of a video on Facebook, and then you're just trying for like 10 seconds. Why is it not playing? Until you realize that it's a simple picture.
Just a JPEG, yeah. Anyway, yeah, what we want to do today is, so hopefully you guys have a bunch of questions and are interested in what is going on out there. I mean, we all know, I saw it this day on my email account. Yesterday I was down to like 20 unread emails, so it was like a little 20 next to my email symbol on my phone, and this morning was like 450. So then you know it's Black Friday. So the inbox is flooded with stuff, and everybody is craving for your hard-earned money. So we thought, why not have a little chat on what's out there in terms of deals, what you might be interested in, what you think is a good investment, or where you should spend your hard-earned money. So feel free to leave your questions in the chat, either on YouTube or on Alex's Twitch channel. And we have a different window pretty much where we just can open up the browser and jump onto some of the offers that are out there. And
let me just switch that to. It's the only thing we weren't able to manage to get going, but I'm sure on the next 1 or 2 live streams, we will make it out to have some kind of like really like a fancy, you know, like a film recording studio with all kinds of cameras blending in from all kinds of perspectives.
Yeah, this is the raw first rehearsal version, and I think when I switch the screen that you are gone. Yeah, Alex is gone when I switch to the browser window, and Alex comes back once I switch back.
If I want to, if he asks me something, I just push this button and then I'm back. There's kind of a little bit of a delay going on right now.
Yeah.
Well, actually not. But anyway, I mean, I'm at least happy that it's possible that we are able to share this, you know, to do this. You know, it's like being able, like somebody's watching on YouTube or Twitch and seeing like 2 guys communicating from Germany to Spain. I was about to say LA, but
yeah, right. Little LA.
Yeah, at least the sun is the same.
Yeah, exactly. Apart from the last 2 days, we had so heavy rain. I haven't experienced that in ages. We had 37 liters yesterday.
because a German came to Spain.
So, okay, let me try to catch up a little bit with the chat here. So, Ethera Gold is 30% off. Is that a must-have in your opinion? Quick answer, that is a must-have even without 30% off. I don't know, because it's so freaking cheap, how they actually turn it off even more. But if you can grab it for 30% off on Black Friday, definitely go for it. The whole library is like $100, I think, on regular pricing.
Right. It's 104.25 euros to be precise, right?
So let's quickly have a look at the Ethera offer. But yeah, if it's 30% off, there is absolutely no reason to not go for it.
Actually, I can do it like this. People can also see your chat on screen, so they know what's going on. That's kind of cool. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. My chat is definitely invisible when I open the browser window. So Ethera Gold, it's distributed through 0G. And okay, regular pricing is 76 euros and 78 cents. And right now you can grab it for 53 euros. They
even discounted more, because on the best service site I see that it's around 104.
Or is it dollars?
Sorry?
Is it dollars or euro?
Oh, euros.
Yeah, on the 0G page it's 76 euros or 53 euros right now on Black Friday. So definitely grab it for that amount of money.
So we already helped you guys by saving roughly 20%. But I mean, even for the full price of 104, as it is on the best service site, it's already like a no-brainer. I mean, there is so much content, right? You did a review of the library too on your channel.
Yeah, right. Stefano sends me pretty much all new updates whenever he has some. He sends them over to me, and I did the stream with Ethera Gold. I did the stream with the new Viking expansion, which is awesome, by the way. And oh, Will just corrected me that I am on the wrong version. It's Ethera Gold and not Ethera Gold 2, and that's why it was so cheap. Damn, I should have done my research better.
So we actually,
It's Ethera Gold 2.5, there we go. And right now it's instead of 119 euros, it's 89 euros. But everything that we said before still stands. For 89 euros, you can't go wrong with this library. It's an amazing investment because it's not only the vocals, it's a full synth library and everything at once in one package. So it's absolutely worth every cent that you spend on it, either on the full version or on the reduced version. Yeah, guys, I realized that the chat is on top of the browser window when I bring up the browser window. So maybe I should change that a little bit to have the chat here. I'm just figuring out a little bit of the view and how we do it.
Territory, yes.
Yeah.
Pop-out chat. Oh, look at this. There, I found there is like a pop-out chat version here, so I can pop out your chat and put it like above my picture. So that's cool. So I can pop out the chat and have your chat next to my browser window. It's kind of funny.
Okay.
We can still switch.
Yeah, there you go. I missed your full screen face.
Yeah.
I also just realized that my screen is kind of a bad idea there. Because it's so colorful, so it's hard to read anything on top of it. I'm just wondering how I quickly can create a black screen. I can just say, yeah, that's what I can do. I can personalize my display settings and make it unicolor. Solid color in dark gray or...
Okay, just so first of all, just saying hi to all the Twitch guys here popping in. We try our best to just answer the chat, but just so you guys know, we just have to take care of kind of like syncing the chat also with Dirk's chat on YouTube. So we just have to find,
right.
As
our German chancellor used to say, this is new territory for everyone. So, but
we
now
should do.
I think, yeah, that works. I can definitely have the chat and the browser windows accessible at the same time. So that works.
So I'm just trying to, yeah, also somebody asked if I could link the office in the chat too, please. Yeah, I mean, as far as I can make it, but on the other side, if we name a brand, if we name a company, if we name the publisher or the how do you say, like the publisher of the libraries, you should be able to just open up a browser window and just hop there. I mean, everybody knows, for example, orchestral tools or zero.
Oh, you mean just linking the website of what we're showcasing?
Yeah, somebody asked in my chat if we just can link the offers in chat too. I mean,
yeah, that's a good idea actually. Yeah. So when I do this and jump on the chat here, oh god, this is more complicated than anything I've ever done, trying to follow along everything that is going on. We need a dedicated moderator later down the line.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway, trying to follow up with my chat. Actually, Remco wrote, Alex and Dirk, actually, I'm hopeless depressive. It's a big rabbit hole, those Black Friday libraries. I mean,
that right now he's doing a good job because he's copying and pasting it to both chats.
So, that's clever.
Really clever.
But Remco, I absolutely feel you. The only thing that helps is alcohol. And since you're in Netherlands, maybe some weed as well.
Yeah.
I didn't say that publicly, didn't I? So yeah, Ithera, the first one we spoke about, I think we agree both that this is an absolute worthy investment, no matter if it's full price or 30% off, but at 30% off even more.
Definitely. So I actually got one from Paul McGee from my channel. He's asking about Keep Forest Devastator and Ryzen, if it's worth the money.
That's a good one. Keep Forest, let me open up the website quickly.
Yeah, do the same here.
So let me try quickly when I do the browser view. Then Alex is gone, which is fine. That is intentional. But the chat is gone too, and this is something that I don't like. I still want to have the chat available.
I never get used to their store website.
The website is hilarious, to be honest. It's tough to navigate. So everybody knows that Alex is still there. We just don't see him right now. And now I have the chat twice.
Everyone knowing me, I'm lying that much anyway. You can't really just, there's not like 10 seconds where you kind of miss me.
Right. But the thing is, what is the deal on Devastator right now? Up to 70% off. So up to, we all know what that means. That is what your internet service provider tells you. You get up to 100 megabyte per second and you end up with 20. So
so actually I'm seeing it's instead of like the full edition, actually it's off. I can't calculate this right now. So but roughly like $100, 80.
Yeah,
like 80
it's $80 off. So instead of $349, it's $269 for the full edition.
I mean, to be honest, I say if I'm using Devastator for almost for not even just trailer work, but also the recent games I was working on, the game trailers and everything. I don't want to miss this anymore. It just became like at least like the ultimate collection on big hits, big brutal. When the impact has to be really like hardcore, then it's definitely one of these tools you don't want to miss.
Same here, and I think Devastator is a little bit underrated for being like just a trailer tool, only because the whole synth section that is in there is just a worthy library on its own. Okay, I was just asked to push your volume a little bit more on my end, so let me try that. So I am going to push Alex a little more.
So am I still too? I can just actually go to my filter and raise it a little bit more.
I think
maybe I should just come closer to the microphone a little bit.
No, I think I had you also quieter on my system here.
Okay.
So my regular volume. So now my ASIO is clipping. Perfect.
Oh, Dragon's Music, just quickly. Yeah, hi, by the way. I think it's not possible to pop out the chat on Twitch, but it seems to be possible on YouTube. So why don't you stream on YouTube then? No, that was just me.
So I just left a comment there. So I am there for the chat on Twitch as well. So Devastator 269. I mean, it will not get cheaper than this throughout the year, I guess. I have never seen it on 50% off. So, well, what is that? Like close to 30% off, right? I don't think that it gets much cheaper. And it's an absolute essential tool depending on what kind of music you do. For trailers and hybrid stuff, it's absolutely glorious.
Yeah. I should also say that we are both, like, always sounds a little bit when you say, like, we are professionals, like we are professionals. But in a sense, I like to see these libraries from this point of view, because if there is something that helps you to get a track done with awesome sounds, and you can get, whatever, a certain amount of tracks done, and you just, you will have that money anyway back sooner or later anyway, after a few weeks.
Yeah. So we have 2 more questions here. Sergio asks, he is confused about the whole Metropolis Arc series, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Before I jump onto that, I just wanted to mention, in case anyone missed it, Orchestra Tools has an offer on their Berlin series. So that is the cheapest I have ever seen it. It's 50% off the strings, brass, woodwinds, and percussion. So if anyone is interested, I do not have their brass library and not their percussion library. But why does the music stop when I change the screen here? That's bad. But anyway, so just wanted to mention that Orchestra Tools has 50% off their Berlin series, which is kind of a big deal because, I mean, that series is, what is it, 10 years nearly old now? And has never been on... 8 years maybe. But it has never been on... I think I got Berlin Strings in 2014 or 15. So it's maybe 6 years.
Yes, right.
So, and I have never seen that on sale. So... Yes. So that's something to consider. Berlin Strings is, if you ask me for my opinion, that is I bought it back then full price. And the only thing that I can say is, I was talking about that in my stream yesterday. I use it way too little for the price that I paid for it. But if you, like we are, if you are a sample hoarder, at some point you just gotta take a direction, so you can't use all the libraries you have all the time. And sometimes there are libraries that you paid some hard-earned cash for that just get lost along the way and just gather dust on the drive and are not being used. Berlin Strings is such a library for me. The library is great, the sound is gorgeous, the amount of articulations is insane. But I just use other libraries, So there's no reason for not using it. But if that is your main staple, string library, for example, it does a fantastic job and sounds amazing. So,
yeah, I was about to say the same. If you're looking for, I mean, it's like probably the most, how do you say, like a library, like the most complete sample library you can get for strings. I mean, there are so many articulations in there. They have even, like, I think, a difference between fingered legato and normal legato, but also ostinato program, where you have like alternating or alternating. How do you say, like
round robin legatos? Round robin legatos.
Right, round robin legatos. That's probably the best way. And they have that for the violins, and I think for the cello.
Right.
And they also have run stuff going on that you can just play these runs, which makes it basically like, I mean, we all know that it's probably the easiest to create runs when you just have samples of full runs. But these are very limited. But the entire Berlin stuff works just awesome. Also for the woodwinds.
Yeah.
I mean, if we just do a little jump over there, that's, for my opinion, like a woodwind library I still use.
Same for me. So somebody asked, what do you think about the Berlin woodwinds? And Berlin woodwinds is still my main woodwind portion in my template. So, and I don't even have the new version. I still have the old version of the woodwinds. I never upgraded, to be honest. But it's I think the woodwinds are great. And some spice from other libraries here and there, like the good old Cinesamples Hollywood winds, I think they still find some use for the runs and things like that. I can't say anything about the brass, and especially with Junkie XL brass, I don't see the need to look myself for Berlin brass because it's in the same room and just with more beef with Junkie. And percussion, I mean, you can never have enough percussion libraries, but the cool thing is when you go for the whole series is that you get all the sound from the same room, which is kind of an amazing thing to have.
Yeah.
That's
cool. That's actually the cool thing, that you have a recording. I mean, probably a few things changed when they worked on Junkie XL because they did it because of how Tom wanted to have the library sounding. But I mean, it's still the same room. So if you're looking for something, like a great, how do you say, like an addendum, or you you want the full orchestra package, and you also have Junkie XL or already own Junkie XL, and you just need the strings or the woods to be in the same room, that this is probably the best thing to get.
Right. So the question in regards to Metropolis Arc 1, 2, 3, or 4, that is incredibly tough to answer because each of these volumes is specifically tailored for a certain niche that it tackled. So the first one is your bread and butter epic balls to the wall sound, and from Alex, you have all 4 as well, right?
No, I think I actually have just 2. I have Metropolis Arc 1 and 2.
Okay.
I don't have 4, and I think I also don't have 3.
So from my opinion, the first arc is the most versatile one. The only thing that the first one doesn't do is quiet. So everything with the first arc is from, I would say, mezzo forte to triple forte. So very, very loud and trailerish and big, which is good when you need that kind of sound. Whereas the second one is all for the quieter parts.
Right. So what Arc 1 can't do, Arc 2 does it.
Right. And Arc 3, I would say, is the least important one in the series. If you think about buying 1, 2, 3, or 4, I think 3 would be the last one that you would need to get because this is really specialized for rhythmic stuff. They have this rhythmic orchestra, like the strings doing 8th rhythms and 16th rhythms and some aleatoric phrasings. And most of the stuff is just percussion. From
Wasn't that 4?
No,
actually?
4 is the smaller sections.
Oh, 4 is the smaller sections. Oh, right.
Yeah. So 3 is all about percussion and rhythm.
Sorry, yes.
And for me personally, I think 4 is my favorite because 4 is the most versatile as it covers both ranges of loud and quiet, and also layers incredibly well with other libraries. So I love to layer the high strings from Arc 4 with regular like Cinematic Studio strings or other string libraries because it just adds some definition to the sound that the other arcs can't do so well. So it really is
but there's no deal on it, right?
The arcs right now don't have a deal as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of...
I would actually see... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just want to say, I think the arcs, they had this Native Instruments sale just recently again. I think they are down to doing this arc sale once a year with Native Instruments, I guess, because they had it twice now in the last 1.5 years. So I would say if you need epic, go for Arc 1. If you need soft, obviously go for Arc 2. And Arc 4 is kind of the middle ground between the two. And Arc 3, only if you have some funds left in the end.
I mean, the most important thing is to see these libraries. This is what I also say on my stream when people ask me, what do you think compared to this library, blah, 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 and so on. So recently happened a lot with orchestral tools with Modus by Jeff Russo. And I think the most important thing to understand here is that all of these libraries, like the RX series and Modus and many others, are just concept libraries. So just, I mean, to do like a quick fly out on this, like Modus is just like it's like a concept library for TV_music. So I would see it like this, not seeing it like I mean, Metropolis Arc 1 is definitely like a bread and butter thing. So it's like it contains basically everything you need to write, orchestral music in general. But all the other libraries I would see as some kind of concept libraries that are tailored towards a specific use.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Before that goes too long, I want to actually jump forward to cover the major names in the industry, so to say. So let's have a quick look at our friends at Audio Imperia, what Jan has on offer. So Araya is $2.99 instead of $3.99. I think that means it's back to intro pricing. And I mean, there recently was just the sale on all the Audio Imperia stuff with native instruments, so that is kind of logical. But one thing that sticks out for me is that Jaeger is $3.49 instead of $5.99.
Yeah, that's quite a bargain, definitely, especially when it comes to trailer music, of course. Especially if you're a fan of Meritus vocals,
right?
It's definitely a great thing.
But then the same applies to, so pretty much from my overview of the website, I would say that Nucleus and Jaeger are the most important ones in their deal. Nucleus is $2.99 instead of $4.49, so that is like a third off. And even if you don't spend like three-figure amounts of money on Black Friday, even the Nucleus Lite edition, which is actually pretty decent as an like entry-level library to just tap your feet into the water, is $79 instead of $99. So I think that is quite a good deal to look out for, especially if you don't want to spend like hundreds of dollars.
Yeah. I mean, I would consider Nucleus anyway to be like the modern, let's say, Symphobia 1, because when this was released back then, it was such a game changer. I actually remember the library costing like 1,200 euros back then.
Mm-hmm.
Or like 1K, like a little bit more than $1,000.
Yeah, right.
It was such a versatile library, and it enabled you. Everybody was complaining about the price because everybody started to get slowly used to $2.99, $3.99 euro libraries or dollar libraries. But it actually saves you so much time, so you can write music faster by not, and not damage your quality level on the writing and get just more done.
Yeah, right.
I think I hit like a tab key. Oh, sorry. Didn't do anything. Sorry.
It's all good.
Sorry
it's all
for
good.
the brain part.
Scammer wrote, Alex, I like your ostinato packs a lot, but wish you could have it so when you click on a sample, you could hear the sample without having to drag and drop into the DAW.
I was reading that right now. Thank you so much. Scambot Terminator wrote this, right?
Yeah.
So thank you. But I just honestly have to say, because these ostinato packs are just basically like music loop or MIDI packs for inspiration or deadline stuff. If I would save the sounds with it, I would actually give away sounds of the libraries or resell sounds of the library, which is not allowed. So of course there is no possibility to just have like a preview of something that is just MIDI.
And maybe I misunderstood. Is that in regards to like putting an MP3 list of the included MIDIs into the pack? Because actually, when you browse through the music loops in Studio One, for example, you can actually pre-listen every.
You can preview this one. There is like a very, very bad quality audio file you can't access, or you just can't. If you want to export it, it doesn't make sense because it sounds so bad. But yes, actually, right there, you're right, Dirk. There's a little preview section on Studio One, but I'm not really sure about Cubase. The
same thing in the if you browse through the media bay, you can also pre-listen to all the. If you pre-listen MIDI, you need to determine the output for the pre-listen, so you need to have like Nucleus loaded in Cubase, and then you can route the pre-listen to that instrument, and then you can hear it. And if you have these Cubase MIDI loops, which is kind of the similar thing as the Studio One audio music loops, you can pre-listen them right away. So the only thing that you don't have is the ability to pre-listen without any DAW. And this is the exact reason. If you give away the music loops with just the samples, it's like giving away some
piracy, right?
Yeah, right. So that is not really possible.
I don't want to get sued by so far like 3, 4, or 5 companies.
Yeah, right. So a lot of people, let's get that out of the way. A lot of people on my chat ask about VSL. I will go first. There's a reason why I don't talk much about VSL, but that's just personal preference. For me, I'm just not a big fan of the overall VSL orchestral sound. For me, VSL has kind of a little bit of a... I mean, I don't want to diss them. They have done amazing stuff in the past 20 years. They have driven the whole sampling world forward. But their concept of sampling dry sounds just doesn't approach me the right way. And for me, it always kind of sounds a bit plasticky. So that's what I envision with the name VSL. Some of their stuff is great, like their recently released Big Bang Orchestra stuff. I heard some of the demos and it sounded very decent, but I still think of VSL in the old orchestral cube days and all the demos, and that sounded very meaty to me. I cannot help myself, and that's why I don't talk much about VSL on my channel.
Yeah, I think I can share that. I think the same for me was in that back then I was a big fan of VSL because I got the Opus 1 and 2 bundle. Then I got like the chamber strings I didn't like. I probably played them once and said, nah. Then I got the Appassionata strings. They sounded really amazing. But what always bugged me was that player. And you needed like 20 knobs here to just make the library sound great. And this is actually, to me, something is not right. When you're just sitting there and supposed to do music, and then you sit there and just fiddling around with 20 control commands, like MIDI control commands, and trying to make it sound real. I mean, something is kind of not, what I'm trying to say. So I totally share that. I just want to play something, like all the stuff we talked about, Orchestral Tools, Audio Imperia. I just want to load that in there. Or somebody mentioned my channel, Pandora 4. Symphonia 4, Pandora, sorry. It is just like an awesome library. You just press a key and you hear something that makes sense. Or you press a few keys and it makes sense. So I totally agree with that.
Okay, I have a bunch of questions rolling in here. First of all, thanks, guys, for being so active on the channel. We have 73 people over here. Alex, you're losing out.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think it's like 120 or something.
Get your crowd going. Get your crowd going. No, but thanks for the question. So, I mean, this is what keeps the thing driving forward. So, first question, how about GoFos? Alex, I think you have it, right? Because I don't have I just tried GoFos for 2 weeks and didn't went for the full version, so I cannot say much about it.
Yeah, I blah, blah, blah. I just got it, I think like a few weeks ago, and I just slammed it on a mix. And I said, I really was like, I'm not the best mixer in front of the Lord, or how do you say? But it's like, I just put that thing on a mix and it instantly sounded better than before. So am I faking something here? I don't know, but it just helps to eliminate. I mean, of course, we talked about that on our streams a lot. When you just about mix and you mix your final track, you start kind of got like cleaning up those unnecessary or unneeded frequencies. If you have trombones and you want to leave a little bit of something to the French horns, you just try to get a bump. You bump out a little bit of that 500 hertz something to leave that to the horns to come through, and probably everything below 300 of the horns for the trombones to stick through. So you just clean up your mix a little bit, and this is what kind of Gulfo's doing. When you just slam it on your mix, it just eliminates those unwanted frequencies. It's kind of like doing the same like Neutron 3 by the Isotope guys.
I was about to say that, yeah. The only thing that gets close to AI in terms of mixing that I have let near my stuff is actually trying out the Neutron, or I bought the Neutron series. And I do like, or the same with Ozone, when you do the mastering assistant to listen to your stuff and do the quick mastering. I mean, it works kind of, but I also feel like I'm losing a little bit of control over the whole thing that I'm doing there, and I rather trust myself than an AI to make decisions for me. So, by the way, just to mention, Chris Su just joined the YouTube horde here. Hey, Christopher, good to see you. And so, yeah, Gullfoss, I'm very inclined to give it more go and try it out more. I think it's 30% off right now on Black Friday. Let me check that quickly. Just I don't say anything wrong.
I mean, what I also would like to have to see plugins like Gullfoss or Neutron 3 is kind of like many people just see these things as faking. They just go to Real Mixer, just learn mixing,
Yeah, just master with Lender.
Huh? Sorry?
Just master with Lender, with this website that offers mastering.
Exactly. But I think it's also a good training. In the moment you just put Gullfoss on a track or Neutron 3 or whatever service, and you suddenly don't hear a big difference anymore, then you know that you have improved. So I would also see it as kind of like a learning tool to see, this is the first thing that happened when I used Neutron 3. I just plugged it on one of my tracks, and I have seen like a bump of 400 hertz, way too high. And I've never seen this as kind of like a disturbing frequency because I got used to it. It's the same like a guy who's always used to sample libraries and suddenly gets in front of like a real orchestra. That I was one of these persons, and I was shocked to hear how bad actually a real orchestra sounds when it comes to being like there in the room with all the noise, with all the coughing and the and all the little tunings.
Yeah. The chair farts and everything.
So, yeah, but I was trying to say that within the mix, when it comes to mix, you just learn from that. You get adapted to a neutral sound.
Right.
So it just helps you. If you want to see it like this, it helps you.
I mean, just to answer the question, so Gullfoss is 35% off. I don't think that gets much cheaper than that, and I think it's also the only sale that I've seen from them throughout the year, so I don't think that they had going on any other sale. I don't know what
drinking beer.
What does that actually mean in terms of real money? So 35% off means you can get it for... Oh, now I have it twice. So 110.50. It's tough for me to say whether that is an essential investment or not. I haven't tried it enough to really give an recommendation there.
It's like Germans open something. That's like I have something important to add. It's like, but no. Anyway, I would probably say that since I got Gullfoss, it's on my mix. Like it has been Inflator for years. So I just, it's like Inflator. The Sonox Inflator is one of these tools.
Yeah.
I don't want to miss anymore. It's always on my channel, and Gullfoss definitely will be the same. So if you're looking for something that even just tweaks your sound a little bit and makes it better, and I think you can always be like a great mixer, you always find something you didn't, because you just got ears, and your ears are human. And if you worked a lot for 8 hours, but you have to get something done, in that last hour or 2 hours, and everything starts to sound distorted, or, kind of like your ears are not functioning as good as in the morning, this is definitely a great tool that helps you to get stuff done.
Right. So when you talk about the thing that you can't get rid of in your master chain or in your mixing process, so the one plugin to rule them all, so to say, I was just about to add, for me, that this year has become the Shadow Hills mastering compressor, and that is actually distributed by Plugin Alliance. And I just opened the page because I remembered that Plugin Alliance has like these 3 rounds of Black Friday deals with $29 each plugin. There are a few plugins that are exempt from that. For example, the Shadow Hills Class A. That one is not in the 29, but the regular Shadow Hills is you can grab that one for $29.
Oh, it's the Plug-in Alliance stuff?
Plug-in Alliance. Plug-in-alliance.com.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just seeing the hardware device. It's something like 10 grand.
Yeah, and this is, I cannot work on a single mix without this thing in my mastering chain anymore. This is the best thing since sliced bread.
I see it like $299 right now. So is
but yeah, they sent out Black Friday codes.
Oh,
bless you, whoever there was.
That's my girlfriend sitting in the back.
Someone in the chat has just sneezed, so
yeah, right. Somebody got his audio activated.
So if I am mistaken and the Shadow Hills right now is exempt from the Black Friday deal, I bought it for like $49 at some point on a sale this year. And
yeah, lucky you did.
the Plug-in Alliance is a little bit like the waves of the plugin world. So never buy plugins at full price from them. So you will always wait for sale. So I have a very big Waves collections meanwhile, but I always bought either the $29 plugins or went for Black Friday or there is a Matthew just posted the code. The code is BFD2 minus 2999, and that gets the price to $29.99.
I just see it right now.
You see it?
Yes, thanks. So you probably sold something to me because I always wanted to try that thing.
This thing, and for $30 you can't go wrong. And little tip on the side, there is a preset in the list that is called Meat for Medium Mastering, and I pretty much just open that setup and let it sit there. And don't do anything to it. It's like the Fruity Loops sound goodizer. It just sounds amazing when it runs through that stuff.
I just try to trick our system. The money you're about to spend would alternatively go to blah blah blah. Oh, they're just desperately trying to use voucher. Can I just use that? Let me see if I can do this. Holy moly, yeah, it works.
You're spending money right on the stream?
Well, I should close that window for a second here.
Well, you know what we should do? We should utilize the power of the new media and use like show you support through the YouTube chat function, super chat, and you get some Twitch subscribers for 4 months, and bam.
I actually forgot to turn on my little guys are not there.
Oh, how dare you not having your little guys running around.
I just probably should do that in the background here for a second. Not that it does anything.
Yeah, the hardware version of the Shadow Hills is like $10K or something. It's an insanely expensive piece of hardware. But yeah, I personally can fully recommend the Shadow Hills mastering. Actually, I don't want to recommend it because that's kind of my secret weapon. Last but not least,
you have to try that out. I mean, for $30, you can't go wrong on something, you know.
That's the next thing, and you can also look. They have not only Black Friday sales; they do these sales like 4 or 5 times a year, where you get stuff for $29. They also have the same model as Slate with a subscription. Which brings me to the next point. Let me look that up. I think the Slate subscription is also in the Black Friday deal. This is for me also one of these absolute necessities. I'm not a big fan of subscriptions, but with Slate I make an exemption.
Yeah, especially they're releasing like 2 new plugins, right? They're doing like a recreation of the LA2A.
Yeah, right.
And they have a new
FG2A, that's what it's called.
Right. And they have a new Air EQ coming, and then they have something coming. I mean, it's obvious news already, so we're not sharing some like inside or beta stuff or whatever. So, and they also have a kind of like a Melodyne thing coming.
Yeah, the fresh air is coming. They tap their feet into sample packs as well, so you now get EDM, 808s, hip hops. I still have the regular pricing with like $14.99 a month. And this is absolutely worth every cent, in my opinion. And if you can get even a better deal with Black Friday right now, this is something you should definitely tap your feet into. I don't know if the subscription itself is on a deal as well. That would be something I would have to find out. I think if you do the yearly subscription, you get 12 months for 10. No, you get you get 10 months for 12. Pay 12 and get 10.
Yeah, annual paid monthly plan. It's €9, but I'm not really sure if it's on a deal. But I mean, to be honest, you know, the many people ask me that is it worth it, like, to go for a subscription? And if you stop the subscription, you can't use the plugins anymore. But to be honest, I think, you know, even if they just release one library one plugin per year, which is like 149 or something, then this is the money you already pay per year for this one plugin. Plus, you get all these other stuff for like $5,000 or something, like combined all of that stuff. Plus, they release like at least 2 or 3 plugins per year, so it always pays out for me to pay these $14. Right, or $15 every month.
Same for me. So in the course of a year, you pay like $150 for the whole thing. Can use it all the time, and even if you're at the beginning of your career, hopefully you should make enough return with the help of these tools to get some money back, to make these tools worthwhile and earn their money back. And even this is something that I would even consider versatile for a hobbyist that doesn't make money at all. I mean, we know that a hobby costs money, and $14 a month is not a bad deal for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So we got Plugin Alliance, we got Slate out of the way. The usual stuff, Black Friday, I can wholeheartedly recommend Soundtoys. Soundtoys has their yearly Black Friday sale. I would wait a bit because they usually also do a December sale or Christmas sale, which is at least in the same vein, I think. But the full bundle is 50% off, right? Soundtoys? Let me check that quickly.
Yeah, just hopping over to...
Save over 70%. So the $4.99 bundle is now $2.29. It doesn't get better than that.
Yeah. I have to say, I really love these tools. I have to say they are a little bit special. They create like a special sound, and you just have to like that special sound. Which is mostly about filters and distortion. to be honest, this is what it comes down to.
Yesterday in the stream I did that. I used the Soundtoys rec on that guitar. The guitar patches, the preset patches that are in there are amazing. But I mean, it's the same as slamming on Guitar Rig 5 or 6 and something in that realm, especially with these shimmer reverbs and stuff like that. But if it works, it works, you know. And I'm all for speeding up the workflow. And if you know there is some stuff where you just slam on a preset and it sounds great, and you can just go ahead and do the next thing, that's fine. So
one thing I have to add, or just real quick, one thing I have to add: the Decapitator, the one plugin that simulates kind of like from warmth or tape warmth to like brutal distortion. I mean, that plugin alone would be worth of what the bundle is currently about.
Yeah, that brings us back to Devastator in the beginning. So if you run the synth from Devastator through Decapitator, then you're sorted for all kinds of stuff.
In fact, if you run everything to Decapitator, it always sounds great.
Yeah, on the lowest setting, it's great for strings.
Yeah. It's great for everything. It's great for vocals. It's like the Decapitator. I know people that have it on their entire mix. I think I remember a mix session back then, and everybody was like, "Okay, let's use Decapitator." It was like one sentence that was always happening for each instrument. Oh, we forgot Decapitator, just a little bit, you know.
Yeah, right. And also, my one of my secret sauce tips: if you have a decent but kind of lacking bass recording of a natural electric bass that is missing a little oomph, just put on the Radiator from Soundtoys on top of that. This thing is magic for low frequencies and for bass to give it more oomph, so to say.
Yeah, actually, that reminds me of, why do I just see like that Black Friday page without getting actually to the plugins? Doing anything. I can just... Anyway, But there was also like that. There's one pitch plugin in there. I think it's called Devil Lock or something.
Devil Lock is another compressor. No, you mean
Or the little altar boy. I
Right.
think the pitch algorithm is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
just
That's
put
true.
it-
I mean, if you spend I personally think that 229 for the whole bundle is way better spent than just the individual pricings.
Yeah.
I got the bundle like 3 years ago, and it has been in use ever since. The micro shift is also great for widening background vocals or acoustic guitar track stuff like that.
Mhm.
So all these plugins in the bundle there have a very special use case, and for that use case, they're just perfect. You know.
Yeah, right. I'm just seeing that right now on the little altar boy. They have a special fader. I just have it on the screen. If you just check the little altar boy, there is like a. Let me just quickly post it to the screen here, to the
Chat.
man. You guys see it? Let me just post it to the chat here. You like double chatting. It feels like old AOL times, being around on chat rooms.
Yeah, right.
Back then, 20 years
Being
ago.
on two chats at the same time, and just being careful that you don't write to the wrong girl.
Exactly. So this little altar boy got a knob. It's a formant knob. It just doesn't change the pitch, because we all know if you change the pitch, you also automatically don't change the formant, because it moves to that Mickey Mouse. So if you change the formant back, you just have it actually pitched up. I mean, it still sounds a bit weird, but it still gets a little bit closer to normal sounding. And if you use this for instruments or synth patches or something, and you dial back the formant, and you kind of get rid of the pitch effect, you know,
Okay.
of that Mickey Mouse effect, or that, you know, that stone golem sound if you go too low, like, you know, doing that stuff.
Anyone sample that, please? That's great. So that was the plugin side. One last thing. I mean, I haven't looked really into the pricing, but Alex, just your go-to final limiter or slammer to get the thing up to volume. What's your preferred one?
I'm currently using the invisible limiter. I always forget what it is. Let me just switch screens again. It's called AOM.
Right. AOM Audio
Invisible.
Plugins Factory. $120 for the perpetual license.
I mean, I think there is not really like a deal going on right now, but let me check. Perpetual license is like 120. They have another version, actually. It's not the invisible limiter. I think it's called invisible limiter G2 or something. And to be honest, I'm not really sure what's the difference here, but I'm using the normal invisible limiter. But I am about to get, and I got this tip from a top mastering engineer, to check out the IKEA. I was about to say IKEA, but IKEA Multimedia, it happens every time. IKEA Multimedia Stealth Limiter. He said this is like the best plugin limiter you can get.
Okay.
But then again, it's just
I
the
have
opinion
heard of
on-
IKEA Multimedia. I have a bunch of their stuff, but I haven't heard of the limiter. Because I wanted just to say, because obviously FabFilter, as in my chat, is usually known as the Fab folder.
That's a good one, yeah.
FabFilter has the usual Black Friday deal. I think it's 35% off for the bundle or 25% for individual plugins. So my go-to is the Pro L2. That is my favorite limiter at the end of the mastering chain. So the Pro L2 right now would be... No, that's not. Oh, that's a bundle.
Let me just check that Pro L2. What is it currently?
Instead of €169, it's 126.75. So it's pretty much the same as the Invisible. So Invisible limiter was $120, and this one is €126. So a little bit more. But
To be honest, the only... sorry, yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say what I love about the Pro L2 is the different algorithms that it has, from punchy to very relaxed. And so my go-to limiter. But yeah, you wanted to talk about the IK Multimedia Stealth.
Yeah, I just have to test that. I actually just compared the L2 to this. I have a pretty stupid way when comparing limiters. I just crank them up and see when they start distorting. That's basically all I do.
Okay. Well, the L2 is great for that because you can listen to the distortion alone. So just to the artifacts that the effect creates.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. And I just tried it to compare it to the AOM, and I just back then, I mean, I could have just changed, because it was like a few years ago when I did that, like 2 or 3 years ago when I got that invisible limiter, that I just tried to do this, and the invisible limiter was just the plugin that started to distort at the latest.
Yeah, right.
I really could crank it like 12 or 14 dBs, and you see like the threshold going down like crazy, and it doesn't change the sound at all. This is why I got really impressed by this thing.
I just have to smile because I'm furious why my IK multimedia page is in Spanish. Fuck you guys. Want to have English, please. So thank you. Products. How much is the stealth limiter? Do you know that?
Oh, I think I just have the page open. It's like 124, but I don't see there is no deal going on.
Funny thing is, it seems like they have like secret Produktpreisabsprachen. For the lack of better words, I don't know what the word there is right now in English.
I was also thinking of doing some funny joke about, but it probably would be cool if you really know how to tell it. But thinking about that VAT, the VAT, the tax stuff. I once got a coupon code from the VAT guys, and every time I buy something, it's always like 20% off or 19, This is so awesome. I can do that on almost everything I buy on the internet. But yeah, you just have to tell it right, but it just...
Well, that was really great about being in the US. Then you didn't have to worry about that type of stuff.
Yeah, right. Yeah, definitely. So there's no deal. Shame on you, IK Multimedia. Maybe you're watching to this, and then if I'm, refreshing the page.
One question that came up in the chat, I did really have to think, when did I do the stream? Because I did so many streams this week. Stressov Afflatus is on 50% Black Friday deal, which is kind of the biggest sale I have ever seen this product. And
this is a so underrated string library.
Honestly, I mean, people told me on the stream that I look like a kid on a Christmas tree while playing that. And really, honestly, it felt like that. I absolutely fell in love with the sound, and I loved it. And I still love it, and I actually want to do way more with it. But Strezov has so much more stuff that is absolutely worth checking out. But if you are into Afflatus, I mean, this library requires some serious bucks. If you buy the regular version, it's like €800.
Yeah.
So right now it's €400.
I think it gets close to the level if you compare it. If since we are having this independent, chat where we, where it's easier to compare all these things, I would definitely compare it into the range of Berlin strings when it comes to, like variety of all kinds of different stuff. It's so detailed, and you got what I probably never use or use way too less, like multi-legato stuff.
Yeah, right.
What is it called? I don't even know. How do you call that? Like that, when you just play all notes at once.
Polyphonic legato.
Thank you. Right. I never use it, so I always think there is something missing. I don't hear it. If you just do it right, I think if you just tweak the notes, you don't hear it anyway. If it's like a sus patch or a polyphonic legato patch. But there is some really great stuff going on in these packs, in Afflatus, I mean. And especially there is one folder where you got like not really sound design patched, but I think we talked about this yesterday real quick, that there is like the Middle Eastern strings.
Yeah, right.
The octave strings. I mean, this...
I think experimental patches, that's what they called it. Experimental patches. And the Middle Eastern one is I mean, I would not say worth buying the price alone, but it's absolutely, and it was a really huge surprise for me to find these patches that could easily be a library on its own,
Yeah, definitely.
So that was a nice add-on. And talking about that, Karsten actually asked a question on my chat. So do you think Afflatus is a good addition to my already existing East-West Hollywood strings, ARC 1 to 4 and Jaeger? Or any other suggestions? I personally, I mean, this is pretty much besides Hollywood strings, I don't use these, but ARC 1 to 4 and Jaeger / Araya for me, I definitely see Afflatus as an add-on to that specific sound set because it's a different character than the others bring to the table.
I think also Afflatus has been recorded in an orchestral hall, right? While
Yes.
East-West Hollywood strings. I mean, you have to be fair here because the library is like 10 years old and it uses the Play engine. And to be honest, I'm not really like a fan of it. Never was. Because I had too many, like opening a session and then suddenly like an entire session was without 50% of all the patches. And there was no chance of getting this back by, I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know. But if I would look for something which sounds a little bit more natural, more orchestral hall-like, because I think there is always so much information in a room. This is also one of these reasons why I not prefer, let's say like this, not prefer VSL, because it's like dry samples, put reverb on it. And if you have dry samples and putting a reverb on it, it doesn't sound like an orchestral hall. It sounds like dry reverbs with dry instruments with reverb on it. This is so Hollywood strings sound very good, but it's studio. It's more happening in a studio environment and not an orchestral hall. So as far as I know, the Afflatus stuff has been recorded in a hall. So I would always see a big difference where something has been recorded.
That's true. That's true. And I think what I loved most about Afflatus, I think that was obvious in the stream, but also off stream when I just played with it. It just extremely feels like having a string section under your fingers. And I think when the library manages to create this feeling, like not like you're the conductor or anything, but that instant gratification when putting down notes and immediately feeling something with it. I think this is what best describes Afflatus. And so from my perspective, to answer the question, if you want to do epic, grand scores and have the ARC series and Jaeger, I think that Afflatus is a great addition to that. Especially
there's also, I remember a great string patch in that sounds like really like that vintage sound, like that.
It's called Vintage Violins.
Damore something, right?
It's called Vintage Violins.
Yeah, right. And the Damore patch or something, Damore patch.
Seen Damore patch, yeah.
Yeah. These sound really, really amazing.
Well, yeah, that's the crazy thing about Afflatus. It's like 7 string libraries in one. There is some inconsistencies between these because not every sound aesthetics has the same set of articulations. So some libraries don't have shorts, but it's not in my opinion, it's not a downside to the library because otherwise the library would have been like 400 or 500 gigabytes in size, I guess, and pretty much 4 times the price if you do every articulation for every string set. But I still think it's extremely versatile and extremely great add-on. So that is stress of sampling, and there's a bunch of other stuff. The choirs are great. The Wotan, I'm personally really love the Arva and Freya, the vocal and children choir. Great stuff there. And there's a lot of good stuff. I personally think that Stresov is still a little bit underrated in the market overall for the quality that they have.
Definitely. I would always say, of course, recently with Opus 2 released, when it comes to vocal libraries or choir libraries, and I really love using that. But so far from then, I mean, it depends on the job. Sometimes you have like Storm Choir 2. It is like 2.5 currently. Sounds really great. Sometimes for me, I pick Oceania 2 currently because Oceania 2 is more, it's like the most recent vocal library or choir library. I use that a little bit more. But so far, Storm Choir was always my go-to choir library because it sounds so great out of the box, especially with that ultimate performance patch where you just play and you get like the full choir playing. And I would say this library, and especially in combination with Stretzoff in general, this is like one of the most underrated sample library guys. I mean, he should be really like up there, I use the other hand because your face is blocking my hand.
No, but absolutely true. For it's the same choice for me. It comes down to either Stressov or performance samples. We haven't mentioned performance samples yet. I don't even know if they have something going on for Black Friday. Let me
we should
quickly check that. They are about to release their Vista strings. Even Torrent just did a demo trick with it, which sounds incredible, but I think even Torrent could also just slam some sticks on a pan and it would sound great.
Yeah.
So, but performance samples, I don't think that they have a Black Friday. They did Conmodo in a sale before Black Friday. So, and they said that this is like the pre-Black Friday sale. And right now the website doesn't even work on my end.
What else I should read? There is something. What Vista is upcoming boutique strings library. Yeah, we know that. More info and blah, 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 behind the scenes. So I got just like the starting page, no information.
Same here. The page is completely down. It's only the starting page. There's no menu or anything.
Yeah.
And also at the bottom you have a little menu. It says performance samples and Vista, and that's it. And that
Actually,
only okay.
The individual libraries, but
it looks like looks like the page is down. So there is no Black Friday offer whatsoever at all. And you can't also not buy any other stuff right now. That's strange. I don't think that this is intended.
But then on the other hand, if you know Jasper, it's always not for purists.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I love that. I really love that. But I can check out the individual products.
Can you?
Yeah, if you go to libraries, there I actually have a little menu on top.
Yeah, that menu was not there for me. That's why I was surprised.
Oh, okay.
Let me check again. Maybe
It's
because
directly on the logo, below the logo, but
performancesamples.com. Okay, now it's there. It was not there before. Okay.
Yeah, maybe glitch in the system. Some change in the matrix, probably.
Yeah, thank you very much for changing my matrix. Yeah. So Conmodo complete bundle credits. Where's the buy button? There is no buy button.
Well, the thing is probably I'm kind of like too old because I remember these times back then when there was Voices of the Apocalypse of East West, like that library that you weren't allowed to use in trailer music. Back then, it was
right.
Buy the Voices of the Apocalypse back then, but you weren't allowed to use it in trailer and licensed music tracks. It actually was a.
I was about to say there's the same thing with some of the stuff that Big Fish Audio sells, that you can't use the stuff in production music. It's
really?
Yeah. Some libraries you really gotta read the terms. Not Big Fish Audio products themselves, but some of their third-party vendors that they have on the page. I understand that most of that stuff is like these construction kits, and a lot of this stuff is not allowed to use in production music. Kind of hilarious, but it is what it is. But in the same thing with East West back then, that you were not allowed to use the stuff in trailers or licensed music.
I was so, to be honest, I was really like pissed back then because I did a lot for East West and their and to writing demos, for the Gold Edition and later for Storm Drum 2. And or even like the Ra library, the Ethnic library, and Silk, and all these things. And then suddenly I discovered that there was like a really tiny message somewhere that you aren't allowed to use NFR, not for resale libraries. So which is important if you are actually writing, if you're doing demos or beta testing for for sample library developers, you usually get like an NFR version, not for resale, which makes sense that you're not allowed to resell it. But you weren't even allowed to use that stuff on your commercial work.
Yeah,
and to me, that was like the point where I said, okay, thanks, bye.
And, by the way, your Twitch stream on my end just went down, or it's back. I just need to refresh the page. And a little late, Mr. Stressov has just joined the YouTube chat.
Oh,
a little late
about the libraries. It's too late now.
Quickly after we were talking about their libraries and about all the stuff, so of course too late. So the chat needs to let them know how we lobhudelten.
Yes, right.
So
Yeah.
anyway, we were at I mean, talking about the elephant in the room. We haven't mentioned Spitfire yet. So why did I call it the elephant in the room? I don't know. So what is Spitfire doing? What can you do with them? So you need to spend $350 to get a new free library, which is kind of hilarious to call it a free library when you need to spend $350 on it.
I just have to let me just follow you here, Spitfire. I was seeing that before, but I didn't understand it. And I think if there's a website where you can't understand Black Friday sales, I don't know. What
Something is off when you don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, let's click on the Black Friday. You can't even click the Black Friday weekend. That's the first thing. So when I open the page and see that big logo, the Black Friday weekend, November 26th till December 1, I can't click it.
Yeah, nothing.
So, okay.
This is what I think. If we talk about newsletters from sample libraries, it's the same happening, that there is a big picture, Black Friday offers. This is the first thing where you click on is the goddamn picture, just put a link on there and not just let it open the picture to see it like full screen. That's kind of, I never got this. So.
Right. Anyway, so the Aperture Orchestra is what you get for free. I think last year they had the Aperture Strings, which I didn't get, so I can't say anything about it. And this year it's the Aperture Orchestra. I think there was a video already around with somebody writing, I think, what's his name? Nicholas, with his virtual assistant Bob. I love that guy. And he wrote a track with Aperture. I haven't listened to that. I just saw the announcement. But talking about the savings, there is a 30% of BBC Symphonic Orchestra. Alex, I think I know you have it, so I can't say anything because I stopped buying Spitfire like 1.5 years ago, so I'm out of the loop there.
I totally get it. I was just interested in what they have going on with the BBCSO orchestra because I just wanted to have that sound. And I honestly have to say these woodwinds and the strings are absolutely gorgeous. The only thing I don't like is the brass. It feels like they completely missed to sample fortissimo. It sounds like as if they didn't have time, and to finish like the brass recordings. I mean, that's kind of rough to say, but it feels like that the biggest company on this planet, or one of the biggest sample library companies on that planet, didn't have time to finish like the triple F or at least fortissimo, like the double F articulations or dynamic layers. So it's kind of weird, but I really love the woodwinds. They are absolutely gorgeous sounding. Also the strings, and I didn't expect the strings to be that much staccato, like that punchy. They are really, really aggressive, but also really, really decent when you need it. I mean, but if you're really looking for the BBC, symphonic orchestra strings or the woodwinds, it's definitely great. But the brass, I would say there was a little bit of something missing at the top.
Alex, 7 Tears just asked, did you also have CPU problems with BBC?
I never have CPU problems. I'm really sorry, but every time something little inside of me dies because it sounds like really arrogant, and I try to avoid this, especially sometimes you get like, approached, you're just really like an arrogant guy. But I'm seriously saying this. I mean, I invested in like a huge machine, like an 18-core 3 gigahertz and 128 gigabyte RAM and memory and all these things.
Say that again, but slower.
And I do these investments and then just try to go with them for like 5, 6, 7 years. And so I don't have to worry about, because I just want to get stuff done, and not just upgrading my CPU every year. And therefore, I don't have any problems with any libraries or any plugins. There is nothing. I can't beat this thing. I can't kill it. I'm just adding stuff and it works and works.
Yeah, that's good.
So
please send your machine my way.
So I think I try to clone it and upload it. So, but I think, to be honest, it sounds a little bit kind of like, if you have memory problems or CPU problems with the library, it's most likely because there is something some new algorithm or something in there that simply pushes your machine to a maximum. And this just means that you have to upgrade your stuff, because back then when you open, I remember the time when the Waves Renaissance compressor was released. It's a thing that you could put on your arrangement like 2,000 times, right? Like 2,000 tracks, and you put like the Renaissance compressor in there, and you just have like 5% CPU. I remember a time when you were able to just load one Renaissance compressor onto like a,
and then you had to render to audio because you wanted to use another one.
Exactly. And there was no chance to use like 2 or 3 because it was that resource intensive. But it was a 900 megahertz CPU back then, or I think like a 450, 600 something. I don't know. It was very early. It was far beyond the 1 gigahertz CPU range. I mean, we can laugh, and I'm talking single CPUs. Today, like the new Ryzen is 64 cores. 64 cores, not threads, like virtual threads, but 64 cores.
Yeah, but what is the single core value? That's the most important thing.
I think it's like 4 gigahertz or something.
I just burned my hands once with Ryzen, and I won't go there again. I am totally on Intel now, and I won't leave it.
But it was just released like a few weeks or a month ago.
Yeah, I mean, I had the 1950X. I think meanwhile they're in 3950X, so it's the 3rd generation or 4th generation, maybe even meanwhile.
Okay. So, but the new ones are really like hardcore. It's like, let me just check. Oh, it's like, no, I'm just on the wrong page. But what is it called? Oh, sorry. Oh, I feel like my...
By the way, Stefano from Ethera is also in the chat.
Oh, and Fresh Beat Maker, thank you so much for following my channel. Just heard that little pop-up sound. Is it the Ryzen Threadripper?
Yeah, the Threadripper is the
like
top of the line.
It's almost $4,000. But the speed,
they just said in the chat the 5950X came out this month. So that's the 5th generation. Again, I had the 1st generation and burnt my feet with that.
Yeah, I had some old, but it was actually it's the Radeon compressor or something like a compressor. the CPU, like AMD or something it was called back then. I had problems with that too. Yeah,
right. That was back then in the days. I mean, my first one was the Intel 386 with 64 megabytes of RAM.
Oh yeah,
that was my first PC.
Threadripper is completely different. I mean, if you put the turbo on it, which is like in there all the time, most likely you have 4.3 gigahertz and you have 64 cores. That's like 240 gigahertz.
Yes, of course. Problem is that Cubase still only takes, what is it, 14 cores max?
Yeah, but I think it's just a matter of a year until these follow up. And I'm not really actually sure about Studio One, but I think they already optimized it for multi-core usage. But I mean, it's like 64 cores. This is like crazy. This is like really crazy.
It is. I mean, especially when you think of other stuff not only related to audio, I can totally see it absolutely being devastating for any other processor out there in terms of video rendering, 3D rendering, stuff like that, where you can utilize all these single cores and distribute the workload. I think audio is still a bit different because you need the real-time performance and not only the 64 cores. That they sound great, but if you have a bottleneck before them, all these 64 cores don't help a single thing.
Yeah. But I think they fixed that. They fixed the Fließkomma-Prozessor.
Thank you for that. I'm missing some good old German words. Fließkomma-Prozessor. Oh, great.
Yeah. Fließkomma-Prozessorberechnung. It's like I think it's like that floating point calculation, which is responsible for having the low latency going on that we need.
That was
But
the
I think
thing that kicked me off the Ryzen with my performance back then when I built my new system, and then
yeah,
that thing became my slave system. And for that, it works great. So VSL
Yeah.
runs gorgeous on that, and I have 128 gigs of RAM, not only 64.
I'm just reading that right now in the chat, Lumonium. Thanks for writing that. So the Ryzen 5 XXX single core performance and latency doing audio work is now on par or better with Intel.
Okay.
So I think they totally fixed that, because I remember a few years ago, 2 or 3 years even, when AMD had problems with that floating point calculation, but they seem to have fixed that. And I mean, it's like crazy. I was talking to a buddy yesterday, and he actually said if it wasn't like if AMD was shooting, their own feet, because they releasing such a big, powerful, and I mean, in a few years, this thing will probably be like $1,000, or it's currently 3,800
Yeah,
euros.
yeah.
But
Another year, it will be 950 euros, something like that.
yeah. And especially if they release something that like this, you already know, or it's kind of like a saying that technology is always 10 years more advanced than what with actually is released. So imagine if AMD just found like the holy grail of CPU development, and in like a 2 years they have 128 core system going on, and then we will see a calculation of the cores in something like RAM, like memory, it's like 128, 256, 512. What is it then? If you have like 1,000 cores on a machine, which will probably happen in like 5 to 10 years, is it 1 gigacore or something?
Remember the times when the German detergent Ariel did their commercials, and everything was more super duper than the version before, like super mega hyper pearls or whatever.
Yeah.
The same thing is happening now with the processors. It's just going super high, mega hyper or whatever. So I mean, I give AMD the benefit of doubt. They might have fixed things and they may be up to par now. It's just a crazy thing when you have burned your feet one time. It's like tough to go back unless you really like start from scratch and build a new system and give it a go. But I mean, on the other hand, to put down like 3.5 or 4K or 6K on a new system without knowing if it's actually going to turn out the way you want it to turn out is a tough choice. So then maybe stick to the stuff that works. For me, that is Intel. But I mean,
that's why I went with Intel too, with my 18 with my 18 core machine. But maybe the next machine I will just test it.
Yeah, when we have some extra super chat money lying around.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, we are drifting off a little because usually that kind of stuff is not on Black Friday sales. The only thing that is on Black Friday sales is SSDs. You can never have enough SSDs. So go to your local trusty Amazon dealer and check out the SSD deals. 2 terabyte. I saw like 150 or 160 euros for a 2 terabyte SSD. Not Samsung, but Crucial.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like an insane deal. I remember times when I paid $600 for that thing.
Yeah.
For 2 terabytes.
As long as it's not Seagate.
Yeah, no, do not get Seagate.
I had this thing dying all the time on my machines. No matter what it was, there was like a hard. I mean, it was actually hard drives back then. But if there was a hard drive dying, it was Seagate. So as you said, you got burned once, so you stay out of this.
Yeah. Matthew just wrote $799 for 8 terabyte SSD right now. I remember the times when that was in the high 4 figures, like 3.5 or 4K. So SSDs is definitely great on Black Friday. I'm kind of a little bit bummed because I wanted to grab a 49-inch screen, like curved screen to replace my 2 old screens, but they're not on Black Friday sale. So I'm a little bit bummed on that.
I can really recommend if I just move my camera a little bit, you can see. Man, yeah, I mean your face is in the way actually, but you can see that it's actually like a curved
You got the LG, right?
Yes, it's like an LG 34-inch, something with 5,000 times 2,000 pixels. And the great thing is, if you just put two cables into it, two monitor cables, and put them to your graphic card, you have two independent screens. So this is really cool. Behaves like two split screens, but without the split in the middle.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean that's what I want to do. Yeah, Matthew, that is true. Actually, I was talking when I was yesterday talking to Alex. I want to get that Shure SM mic as well, some point later down the line. I'm waiting for my next BMI payment.
Yeah. I can't wait for that. This is always the time, like where you don't get paid in December, but January, and then you have like Christmas in between.
Yeah, I never understand why BMI is doing that. I mean, they say they do quarterly, right? Which doesn't ring true, because if it were quarterly, you would get your money in December.
Right.
So, I mean, it's nice to have that in January and then in March again. It's like only a 2-month gap, but especially in September, and when it goes to Christmas time, you suddenly kriechst auf dem Zahnfleisch.
Yeah. How do you translate that right now? You're just crawling on the gum of your teeth.
Yeah, right. I mean, since we have a lot of German folks in the chat, I guess that can work out. But anyway, anything in terms of
like do that like a German chat, having a German chat,
Maybe we should do a proper German stream at some point. Germans only. Well, we'll see how that turns out. Anything else we need to talk about Black Friday, guys? Any questions? Are you? I mean, let us know in the comments. Are you in or in the chat? Are you indifferent on what you want to get, or do you have some favorites? What you think you can't live without and definitely want to go for? One thing I haven't mentioned, was talking to Alex about that quickly before. Audio Bro, not necessarily Black Friday sale, but they announced something very interesting because
check that one.
10 years ago, Audio Bro released LA scoring strings, which has been a staple for years, and it took a lot of sample developers quite a while to get to the same amount of realism in a library that Audio Bro has created with LA scoring strings. And I think there is nothing on the website yet. They announced a new.
It is actually. If you check products, there is modern scoring strings.
Oh yeah, okay. So there will be a new string version called Modern Scoring Strings, and it looks like they pretty much stick to the concept of LA scoring strings, which is like DVZ sections and having different sized sections of the individual string sections. Like violins 1, you have the full 12 or 14 violins, but then you have smaller sections of 3, 3, and 4. And it looks very interesting, and they said if you own LA scoring strings, there will be some nice cross-grade pricing options. It's going to be released by the end of 2020, so this is something that I'm really looking forward to, and I'm really interested in how this is going to turn out. Just want to let you guys know that there is something coming, and they have a Black Friday sale as well, I guess. I haven't really checked, but the brass, for example, that's one of the libraries I don't have. Well, it's pretty steep. It's instead of $7.99, it's actually $3.99. So you can grab the brass for $400 off if you're interested in that.
What I can also recommend, but I just don't see any price right now, is the Last Light. I got that too back then because I didn't, me trailer guy, me don't see DVZ as making some sense. It's like I don't see anything that DVZ. If you're just into puristic orchestra recordings and you really want, I personally don't hear the difference if you have, or let's put different. At some certain point, you don't. If you load like Junkie XL 12 horn patches and you just play like like an A minor chord, you have like 3 notes. So with 12 horns each. So you hear like 36 horns. At some point, you can distinct. Is it like, 36? Is it 70? Or is it 16 or something horns playing right now? So there was no really a need for DVZ for me. But what I can actually recommend is that I got the Last Light package, and the staccato strings are among the tightest you will ever get. It's just
That's
with
absolutely
very
true. There's nothing to
minimal
add to that.
amount of pre-delay. You actually don't need pre-delay for that. Maybe like 20 milliseconds, because actually every library has to be treated with pre-delay. But most of them stop at like minus 20 seconds, so minus 20 milliseconds. So you don't.
Keep talking. I have to take care of a client. No, someone in the chat mentioned why there is no Black Friday sale in my shop, and I just need to set them straight, because there is. There is. So.
Yeah, I thought we know this already. No.
Yeah, so let's just let the cat out of the bag. So Alex's shop has free for everyone. No, what is it?
Almost free for everyone.
Yeah, right.
I just made it like I just made it kurz und schmerzlos.
Very short and painless. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, short and painless. So it's like $2 everything. So basically €2 every product you can buy there.
Yeah, Alex is way more rich. Alex is way more rich than I am. I can't afford to go that far down. So you can just get. By the way, I wrote the wrong code. CTO Black Friday in the shop gives you 75% of everything, no matter how much you put into the cart. So
yeah, that's great.
For your shop, you don't even need a code, right? It's just $2 straight away.
Yeah, everything down to like €2. So you can just go to store.alexpfeffer.com.
I just still hope for some random guy that pops into the shop and just forgets to add the code, and just buys a regular price.
Yeah, that's what codes are for, because you think that everyone forgets to put them there. But no, that's just kind of mean. But
right. No, but it's just.
I just wanted to put it like €2 because in the end, it's like that philosophy of saying like, okay, I just don't care for the money, not because I'm rich, but you think like everybody's granting like a discount, so let me just do a discount. But at the end, I honestly have to say people appreciate doing this, so more people buy it anyway, and then you see some decent amount after these few days. Even I put it on for 48 hours, and even after that time, I can already say, yes, you did something good for people, because if somebody wants to buy everything on my store, it's probably like $40. But in the end, I can say I don't need to worry for until my next BMI payment comes in January.
Exactly. So Alex is fine. You can all head over to my shop now.
Right. So what do we have here?
Right. I just wanted to mention we didn't speak about talking about the bigger ones out there. We didn't mention Heaviosity.
We have to do that.
I'm only talking about that because somebody asked about Damage 2, and I think their Black Friday for Damage 2 is that it's back on intro sale, so you can get what is it? So Gravity, they have a lot of stuff half off. They oftentimes do 50%.
Don't buy it. I see it right now. Sorry, not from the native instance page, because it's still 388 over there. So you really want to make sure. I recommend to always go with the It's
directly
$299
to the Heaviosity page. Correct. So it's $100 off, and I think if you own Damage 1, you still also get the additional $100 off. So you can grab Damage 2 for $199 if you have the first version, which was the same as the intro deal. I bought it the same day it was announced, or it was available in the shop, and it was absolutely the right decision to do so. I am actually inclined to grab Ascent. I don't have that one. It was one.
Yes, right. I don't have that.
It's $149. It's $89 right now, so I may grab that. Gravity is absolutely worth it for $224, unless you are covered with a ton of other trailer and sound effects libraries already. Then there is a lot of overlap, of course. But if you don't have much trailer type sound stuff, Gravity is worth the money.
I'm so sorry. I actually understood all the time that you say Gravity. Gravity. So it's like, what does he want? It's like
no, Heaviosity, Gravity.
Yeah, I got that in the meantime. So, but in the beginning was like, yeah, grab a tea. Yeah,
Yeah, you can go and grab a tea, old man. Go.
yeah.
I think the whole orchestral range, Forzo, Novo, and Vento, is all 50% off, I guess.
Oh, that's really amazing. Yeah.
I cannot say much about it because honestly, I don't have the Novo and Forzo and Vento. I have the 2 Novo expansions, which I like a lot. But I don't have their full-fledged orchestral libraries. They never asked me to do a stream with that.
Yeah, the same here actually. But I actually have the Novo modern strings. I have to say honestly, there is nothing like it because the approach is really with also modern trailer approach in mind for just the natural instruments. So I mean, even if you just want to have something that is absolutely amazing for layering, and it also sounds a little bit like a fresh modern approach of Last Light, the staccato patches. The staccato patches in Novo are absolutely amazing. If you look for some punchy staccato patches, Novo is definitely great. And all the other stuff, the engine and the string movement stuff, if you look for something that kind of glues together some elements, you want to go hybrid, this is definitely a great pack.
Yeah,
but
true.
Can't
that.
say anything about brass and the woodwinds, to be honest.
And going not too far, we covered Heaviosity. The only thing that I want to add, the packs, the Mosaic packs are on sale as well. Yes. Mosaic Voices, 50%. That's actually even more. No, it's 50%. So you can grab Mosaic Voices and keys for $59. That's quite a steal. Tape and bass is still 99, so that is 20% off, I think. Although I wholeheartedly can recommend them. So tape and bass even more than tape. So bass is my new favorite plugin contact library for especially that bass.
Yeah,
there's definitely great stuff in there. Tape is okay. I don't get, over the course of time, I think I don't get as much use out of tape as I get out of bass, but they're both very versatile and very unique libraries and just nice add-on tools that help you get a job done fast.
Yeah. I mean, this is always, to me, we have so many orchestral libraries. We also have so many percussion libraries or synth, puristic synth instruments. I mean, like soft synth, right? But there is I mentioned that during my stream a few weeks back, that the most feedback I always get from clients or developers is always, I mean, game developers or licensed music companies, is that they are looking for that organic factor. And in my opinion, all of these libraries, also if you go back to orchestral tools like the Thai micro and macro libraries, or Arcis, which has been released like a few months ago, these are always these libraries that bring that organic stuff into your composition. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm listening. I'm just listening.
So you're just really like very blurry right now, and it looked like the picture froze. I was just remembering the session yesterday when my OBS crashed all the time, so I was a little bit panicking.
No, the funny thing is that due to the 3 screens that I have here with Twitch and YouTube and the OBS window, I have 3 different versions of the same picture and 3 different quality levels.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'm still there. No, I didn't faint. I'm still good.
Okay.
I'm still good.
Yeah.
I still feel that we have forgotten 1 or 2 of the bigger players. Definitely ADIO and Sound Iron. We haven't mentioned yet.
Right.
Sound Iron has a lot of. Overall, I think they have created a niche for them as being that these guys with the special sounds. Mm-hmm. That's what I would describe the Sound Iron catalog. It's really unique in terms of. I mean, they have some regular bread and butter stuff as well. They have the string libraries and they have their choir libraries. Actually, the choir stuff and the vocal stuff is really good that they have. And but these kind of strange out of this world libraries. The 6 series is extremely versatile for horror scoring and stuff like that. When you need dark stuff, they oftentimes have these dark soundscapes. That's great for game scoring and things like that. So they do a lot of 50% sales during Black Friday. Let me just quickly check that I don't say that wrong. Sound Iron, Virtual Instruments, Autumn sale, 40% off. Okay. And they have also a bunch of stuff. Contact Player. If you are really tight on budget, what I really could recommend, if you don't have much money, get the Olympus Micro Choir if you need a choir. This is something that really gets you very far for a small chunk of money in terms of a nice epic choir. I mean, there's also the free Labs choir from Spitfire with Eric Whittaker with the hums and haws, but it's not the same feeling. But I mean, you can get both, and then you can layer them, of course. So just
but they sound nice out of the box. Is it like these A and O patches, right?
Yes.
The micro choir.
Yes. Although the micro is even the completely small version. I'm talking about the Olympus Elements.
Oh right, I think I got that too.
Yeah. So this is.
These
I think you
sounds.
even have legato in these. Some basic legato patches. Let me quickly check that. You have Olympus Choir Micro. That is $27 right now, which is a steal. And Elements is $69. So just to bring that in, there we are. And the full Olympus version is $329, and the 69 version is usually $99, and that is a great entry. I think it's even wrong to say entry-level library, because this is some serious competition in terms of choir sound. So just as a heads up, that is $69. I have to be honest, I haven't bought anything from 8Dio in quite a while.
Yeah, same here, actually.
So they have everything sale, 55% of all products, or when you buy everything, so that's still like 15K or whatever. Oh god, they have so many windows. That's great. They have so many windows popping open when you go into the page. Like the chat comes up, and when you buy that and grab the deal.
Yeah.
They have the fire trombone I think you get it for free after a certain threshold. I haven't really digged into their marketing emails. I have to be honest there. It's just, I haven't, again, latest thing I had was actually nice enough that they sent that to me, was the Century Strings and Brass. I did a stream with that, so that's what they sent me. And I did the 2.0 update for the brass and the strings, I guess, just recently. So that's the newest thing. And other than that, I can't really tell anything about possible Black Friday sales. I know that I would need to recheck my emails. But it looks like when you look at the page, the bundle...
I'm just on the page right now. So there is no comparison price going on. For example, if you check something for New Century Brass bundle or something, it doesn't give you a comparison. So you don't even know if it's like, was it like 3098 before? I can't imagine that ADO is doing something like this, but was it like 398 before? And it's just like in red numbers right now. I can't imagine they doing this, but I just kind of like lost count a little bit recently for
ADO
for the most recent stuff, right?
So my chat just says you have to try the fire instruments. They are fun. So I just saw, funny enough, they had, when you get these like commercials before a YouTube video, recently I had the first time an 8Dio commercial before a YouTube video, and that's where Trolls just played the saxophone, like 2 minutes real time playing. And that sounded pretty decent. That was like Careless Whisper on a virtual sax. Okay, they do have the Love You 55 discount code. I just don't know what that give you.
Probably 55%, if I'm guessing.
Yeah, that is a very good guess there. I just don't know if on any product or whatever you buy, if it's always 55.
Yeah,
Well, I
can't
mean,
imagine.
right now, 8Dio is losing out there because I don't find much information about that on the website. So, I mean, if I have Black Friday sales going on, at least, oh, I shouldn't put my mouth too full because I didn't put anything on my website at all.
Because actually the first banner said it on the top. It says the everything sale 55% off all products. And
Use
then there is a
code-
little asterisk. on
Okay,
it.
that means they have everything not even half off, but 55% off. Okay, now I got it.
Yeah. But I
just
I don't have to find the asterisk. This is what I always don't really like. If there's all products, and then they have this little asterisk
There
of
is-
saying that
yeah.
there's
where is the asterisk explained? I don't see
Uh,
it.
this is what I'm talking about. You don't see it.
Yeah.
There's just this little thing of all products, and then
Somewhere on the
but-
page we have hidden an explanation what is excluded.
right. And if I can't find this, I don't know. So it's like, just show it to me. It's like, I don't know why you should hide this somewhere. This is
Did
not.
somebody just wrote you get my mom, Dirk? What the hell's going on in my chat? Anyway, Embertone has 50% off everything pretty much. Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is that it's very hard to cover, like, especially all the small developers.
Yeah.
What I really can say is check out the Ben Osterhaus libraries. Loot Audio is now the distributor. And one thing that I definitely have to talk about is Best Service and Eduardo stuff. We haven't mentioned that. So that is another thing that we need to tackle. And I think then we covered most of the stuff that I can think of right now.
Actually, there is one. Oh, sorry, I was just trying to look for Eduardo. No, just look for best service. Actually, there is one coming back to plugin company that I really love. That I have to just. I mean, we're not endorsed with these companies all anyway, at some level. But if we talk about that later on. But I just wanted to add that Neural DSP, just in case we got some guitar players in here. I think it's also 50% off, and their plugins are also like 99 all the time. So currently you get all of these. I mean, not all of these, but individually, each of them for like $49.
Dude, you just make me spend money because I just had the Neural DSP, the 14-day trials, and checked them out, and was torn between the Abazi and the what's
the Grain of Fire?
Nolly. I love the Nolly one, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So if they are on sale right now, I might spend some money tonight.
Do it, especially if you want some really like hardcore.
Guys, just so you know, there is a super chat option on the YouTube chat. Where you can just support the channel, and if you like what you see and hear. No, just kidding. Not asking for money today.
Punk Music is just asking on my chat if there is like a Neural DSP Mesa Boogie simulation. Actually, I don't remember. They didn't sample specific amps, but they sampled specific artists and their products they are using, or their amps they're using. So it could be that there is some kind of like a sampled Mesa Boogie amplifier, but it's more of what these. I think Nolly on this Nolly plugin on the archetype Nolly. I think he sampled like 30 speakers.
Yeah, it's an insane amount of different speaker possibilities that you have there, and Sonox has a great sale too. Just Eve mentioned that. Just trying to keep up with the chat. Someone asked about Oak Sound Soothe, which is kind of the same thing as we talked about before with what was the other one? Was Gullfoss. Is it Gullfoss? Gullfoss? I think Gullfoss, right? They're Norsk.
Yeah.
So I don't have Soothe. I haven't even tried it yet, but I heard about it and read about it, and If
To
there's
be honest, I tried it, but I didn't read the manual, and I'm that intuitive guy throwing something on the mix and just works or not. But to be honest, I just threw it in there and just tried a little bit, and it didn't do anything. And I didn't have the time so far, so I may be totally unfair here, but it's like I put it on there and I just try to check out what it does. But I couldn't. It may be really embarrassing right now, but It didn't do anything to me. And so I just probably go back and read a little bit about what is going on.
yeah.
So
Sometimes RTFM is really the right solution. Read the fucking manual.
yeah, RTFM definitely.
I have to be honest, talking about the neural DSP stuff, I recently got the full package from, disclaimer there, I got the full version from Native Instruments, provided, Complete 13. And because I really wanted to check out Guitar Rig 6, and I'm actually really positively surprised by Guitar Rig 6. So they really stepped up the game with that one. I do like some of the new options and the new amps and tones that you get with Guitar Rig 6.
Definitely have to check that out. It's a little bit like DSL to me, like when it comes to hardcore, I'm from the metal fraction of music.
You don't say.
I just try. Huh? Sorry?
You don't say. So
And if you just play this and then you hear a Guitar Rig 5 or something, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's like
two worlds. I know what you mean. The Guitar Rig 5 specifically has never been the stuff for metal stuff for me.
Yeah.
But for the regular pop and rock stuff that works in the context of a mix, but as you say, if you put your Strandberg through that is like Palin for die Säue. Maybe. So for that really dark and metally type of stuff, the Nollies, the neural DSP stuff is great.
Yeah, especially Grain of Fire, all that stuff, right? So neural DSP in general. Yeah, but yes, you actually wanted to check out Best Service, right? We just kind of
skipped right. We skipped Best Service. Sorry, Eduardo, good friend of mine. Actually, now close neighbor. He's not far away here in Valladolid.
Right.
Need to once the whole COVID stuff is over, I need to stop by. So Eduardo has everything on sale besides Nada.
Mm-hmm.
And I think very much in the beginning in the chat, someone asked about Celtic era and if that's a useful Celtic instrument. Funny thing is that the market is not that saturated with Celtic libraries, so you don't have so much to choose from anyway. But yeah. I also think that with Eduardo, no matter what he touches, you cannot go wrong with his stuff. The Persian era is amazing. I did a Celtic album like 3 years ago, and I used a lot of his original middle-aged themed Celtic, not Celtic era, but era medieval.
Mm-hmm.
And this stuff is amazing. The Celtic library is great. Dark era is not even better. They are on par. It's just a different cultural musical region that he covers with these different libraries. And
yeah, he does it very brilliantly.
Eduardo is like the if you compare it to the music market, there's always one artist in your playlist that sticks out because of you hear a sound from that artist and you know that is this artist. He has just such a distinct voice.
Yeah,
in his music that you instantly, like if you hear the first note from Mark Knopfler's Sultans of Swing, you always know it's Mark Knopfler playing Sultans of Swing.
Yeah,
with a guitar sound. And the same thing applies to Tari's libraries. He has a signature sound no matter what he does, and when you play a patch from him, you immediately know it's a Tari patch.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just seeing that right now. Desert Winds is like 79 euros. I mean, that's kind of like, I think it got like just 3 or 4 legato instruments, but these sound so nice because they are so hard to achieve.
The duduk is amazing. Although I have to wonder that they still sell it because Desert Winds is also part of Celtic, of era Persia, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
But
right.
But it doesn't really
Right.
matter. I mean, the whole Persian era is, I think, original price was 279. If let me quickly check that if I'm not mistaken.
I just have the best service site in German. It's so funny when you just Instrumentensammlung vergessener Welten des Mittleren Osten.
Yeah, sometimes you forget how funny German can sound.
Yeah, it just remembers me of working for Wolfenstein, you know.
I mean, just look at my screen. I just looked for error, and the first thing is Vengeance Sound with 16-bit error, 39 euros. But Ancient Era Persia, there we go. Ancient Era, 155 euros right now is on sale. That's 50% off, isn't it? Usually it's like, no, 279 I think is the original pricing. So this is definitely something to consider, and that applies to all the eras. Celtic era is 155. And if you're looking to make that type of music, Celtic music, old type of music, I don't even know of any other library that comes close to the quality of Tari's library in that regard. So,
I mean, even if you want to work in the game sector, in the video game sector, and there's like a big, there is like, it always happens in games that you have like different fractions, different races, different places where you go, and they are always leaning towards different cultures on they are always connected to cultures happen on this planet. So if you go somewhere and developer says, okay, you just want to have some little bit of an Asian flair going on, but we don't want these instruments or blah blah blah, it should sound different because it's a fantasy world anyway. So these libraries bring all that stuff to life, and especially with companies, and that happens, that want not the typical, not like the typical Lord of the Rings soundtrack. So this always makes sense when you need world instruments to want to make, kind of create music for all these different places within these games. So it's definitely a no-brainer. And you will definitely buy some of these libraries as soon as you decide, for example, to get into the video games world, and you get your first gig no matter what project.
That's true. And also, if you buy Eduardo stuff, definitely grab the era Medieval Legends as well, because I know firsthand that the CTO shop is going to have a template for that coming soon.
Yeah.
So that is in the works. No, I'm doing a template for Medieval, especially tailored for game soundtracks and stuff like that. So there will be some nice stuff coming that is not going to be on Black Friday sale because it will not be released by then. So, Best Service. And next to Eduardo, there's also a bunch of other deals that Best Service have on their page, so you can check that out. I think they even changed the deals, like doing 2 days. Did they? Maybe I mistake that with another. I got so many, as I said, I got so many emails with Black Friday. It was crazy.
I also have to say that somebody on my chat said that also Project Sam has a sale. It just disappeared. Where is it not? Why did somebody just...
No, I read that. Yeah, that's true. That was actually on my chat. Can you please not mistake my chat for your chat? Keep your distance, bro.
Yeah. It just happened on your chat. That's funny. So I just switched over to screens and then suddenly I've seen, we didn't mention Project Sam so far, because I honestly have to say that if you go to the libraries and you check out Orchestral Essentials 1, this is like, and there is no, they have they're having a discount code. Like you have to put BFSAM 2020 and it's 30% off.
Right. 30% off everything. The only thing that I still don't have is still Lumina, which I might be inclined to take a look at. Oh, I don't have number 4. I never got my hands on Pandora.
If you are, I just wanted to say, are you crazy? No, if you if you really want to have a fresh approach on, especially percussion instruments, that giving you these roles that you say, I mean, I know that problem all the time, that you have like a let me switch screens again.
Yeah,
That
me
you have
too.
the situation that you have like 4 or 8 beats, meaning like 2 for 4 bars, and you want to have that perfect cymbal roll. How many times do you just play that cymbal roll and you don't have any mod wheel available, and you just want to have that perfect 4 or 8 beats to cover that cymbal roll? And this stuff is possible with Symphonia 4. You just dial it in like 4 beats, 8 beats, 3 beats, 5 beats, whatever.
I mean, it's funny
And
enough. This is what Damage 2 now does for me. And I mean, back then, I know when
Yeah.
Symphonia, I have always been a big fan of the whole Symphonia series, and I still use 1 and 2 in my template, for especially the ensemble patches for the strings and the brass. They always work like magic glue underneath everything else when you just put them under the track. And so when I was very excited when Pandora was announced, and I watched all the walkthroughs and all the videos and all,
Yeah.
and back then something just didn't tick for me with Pandora. So I've never worked with Project Sam, so I never got the only that's not true. I got one NFR version of Symphonia 1 back then when I did, that was 2013 when I did the tour with Best Service through Germany, because I had to showcase Symphonia 1, and that was great because then I got the library. But after that, everything else I bought over time. And
right.
so then I watched all the videos of Pandora when it came out, and something just didn't stick with me.
No, I totally get it. It's totally focused towards, the typical, as they describe it, like action, sci-fi, and horror scores. But it sounds like really they have so many cool, brass stuff, so much cool brass stuff going on in that dark sector. I mean, they put like a kind of like a Borg cube thing on their package. This is exactly how it sounds like.
Yeah.
It's totally cool. I actually use them for all my orchestral percussions. I just use Pandora 4 because you got like instant great sound. I mean, typical for Project Sam, and then you got all these, rolls and everything within one patch. So you can just decide if you just want to use the hits or just use these, tempo synced crescendos.
Stop it.
Also, I think. You want me to go on? Now, actually, one thing I have to say, Orchestral Essentials 1 is still, I consider, a library. I think it's below 1 gigabyte. It's just 900, something like 990 megabytes or something, or a little bit above. I don't know, but around this. And I still consider it among the best sketching libraries available because you can easily install this on I installed it on my Surface, on my Windows Surface 3 or something. It's like that Windows Pad, but basically the how do you say, like the pendant to the iPad?
Yeah.
For Windows. I installed the
The
entire
equivalent.
library on that and was able to run, Cubase back then. So it's I consider it among the best sketching libraries out there, no matter if it's like 5 years or 10 years old. Definitely does a great job.
It's nothing that Project Sam does can pretty much go wrong. It was just that the whole aesthetics of the library just didn't click with me at the time.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that this is an absolute useful tool, and again, it's Project Sam, so you get the sound that you pay for, and even the small libraries, the Orchestral Essentials, both are great libraries. I don't want to mention that there's a template coming or something, but
that's definitely great stuff.
And just a tip for you guys, if you follow Alex's channel or my channel on giving some advice on writing with libraries, definitely check out the Project Sam YouTube channel. This thing is amazing in terms of some knowledge that you get, how they use their libraries to create like mystery scores or action scores. I mean, they showcase obviously their whole range of libraries, and when you get like this jazz influenced noir style score, they showcase their big band library and all that stuff. But it's really, really amazing to see in a short period of time, like not like Alex does or I do, like 3 hours. It's like 10 minutes, and they still manage to showcase how they did the whole track. So
yeah, right.
It's not edited, at all.
You have to take over for like a minute because I have to go peeing. I will be right back in a second.
Do that, then I can grab a beer afterwards when you're back. Cheers. So definitely check out the Project Sam channel. Amazing video content there. Just look for Project Sam on YouTube and check that out. Suddenly Alex is gone and now I feel very, very lonely and alone. Help me through that hard time, please. And also, now I need to read Alex's chat as well. Where were we? We were at the archetype Nolly. Project Sam has a sale too. Sooth 2 is a no-brainer. Okay, good to know. Are you guys reviewing songs? Sour music? Unfortunately, not today. Today is no song review. Today is just a little chit-chat and talking about all the crazy Black Friday deals out there that are going on because it is Black Friday. Ryan, just keep drinking. Yeah, I'm going to do that because I need to refill my my Corona. In memory of 2020, today I decided for a little Corona beer. Verharmonic, let's quickly check that. Okay, when you guys are interested, Verharmonic, definitely I think the violin is on sale.
So there I am.
I just told all the guys here, suddenly you were gone and I felt very lonely.
That's so kind of you.
No, they mentioned Verharmonic, the Verharmonic Bohemian violin. Definitely one of the best violins out there, but doesn't look like it has a sale going on right now. $229, is that the regular price? I don't know what the regular price is. I thought it would be on sale.
Oh, Bohemian violin, right?
Bohemian.
I didn't get it so far.
Right now, it doesn't look like a sale. Maybe I'm mistaken there. I thought they do.
Switch to?
I cannot say much about the Verharmonic choirs because I don't have these. So this is something. Oh, by the way, check because a lot of my templates use that. You guys have always been asking. Check out the Eventide Black Hole. Usually that's on Black Friday sale for 49 or 69 euros instead of 200 something. Let me check that quickly. The Eventide.
Yeah, since we are at the reverb, right? Black Hole Eventide. That's really an amazing reverb. Black Hole Reverb plugin. What is this? The site doesn't load for me.
Well, I got you covered, bro. I am here. Black Hole, there we go. No. What's happening?
Oh, now it loads.
Okay, learn more.
Takes a while.
By now tells me. Well, I pretty much assume that everyone is just running at their site right now. 279. That cannot be. Well, that is the regular price, but that is not Black Friday price. Do they have a discount that they need?
Is it like that expensive? Because
yeah, the regular price is 279. The regular
I got it for like 29 or 39 back then when they introduced it.
I got it for 49, but I know that the regular price is 279. That's true.
Wow, that's amazing.
So Eventide Black Hole.
Amazing, but
Reverb plugin. I cannot believe that they don't have Black Friday sale. They always do Black Friday sale.
Probably is very self-confident. I mean, like our Black Hole plugin will be sold anyway, or if they're saying like nobody buys anyway, so we don't see to put in.
No, the thing is that Eventide also does 2 or 3 sales a year. So they regularly do sales, and this is the same thing as we mentioned before with Waves or Plugin Alliance or whatever. Never buy at full price at these pages because there will always be a sale at some point coming around the corner that gives you the stuff for quite a good chunk off.
Yeah. I think they did this price drop when they introduced Black Hole, right? So right in the very beginning, they sold it for like, as you said, like 49 or something.
Right, they always do that. I got the Ultimate channel that they also have for free when they released it. They released it for free for 2 weeks, and I think now they sell it for 190 euros or something. So They always do that when they have a new plugin to either significantly low cost or even for free. There was a question in my chat. What do you think of Liquid Sonics? I can answer for the Seventh Heaven because I have that, and maybe you can jump on the new one.
Yeah, I got the cinematic rooms.
Right. I don't have that one. I have the Seventh Heaven, and right now, funny enough, I have been going on with my own kind of reverb settings for years, and I think like 3-4 months ago, some random guy from Hamburg, Germany, posted a reverb video on his YouTube channel without even showing anything about the settings or whatever, but just friggin' talking about. So just saying, well, I just put a reverb on the stems and I'm done. And I thought to myself, well, give that a try. And fuck me or not, this is now my current reverb setting. I have Seventh Heaven on my stems and that's it. I'm done. Thanks, Alex.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I never heard of her. Don't know who you're talking about.
Of her.
So that's. But to be serious, I mean, Seventh Heaven, even like the introduction, the standard version is like $49 currently. And to be honest, there are like 2 plates I'm using or 2 hall settings all the time to be specific for strings and the brass, and I think it's down in the hall that you just have that dial wheel.
Yeah.
Just have it on my screen right away. So you just got that London plate showing on that picture, but there's something like a Boston plate. It's like 1.80 seconds to 1.90, maybe 2 something. And then there's a little bit of a bigger hall.
The Boston Hall, that's the one I use always.
Yeah. And I use actually a different one for the brass. I use that Boston Hall for the strings. I mean, not all the time, but it's just like a great sounding reverb. And the cool thing about this, if you just raise the mix knob, you just hear at some point it colorizes. It's not just adding reverb, but it's just colorizing the signal, the strings or the brass signal.
Do you mean on Cinematic Rooms or still on Seventh Heaven?
Sorry, Seventh Heaven.
Yeah.
On that cheap $49 version right now.
Yeah, that's the one I use. I don't have the pro version. I have just the simple. I mean, I paid $99, I think. Yeah, that one is great. It's
I think
one of the best reverbs out there, I think.
I think it's $69 only anyway, but now they have it for $49, and this is like really a steal. So if you're looking for a round, great sounding,
yeah, you may be right. It might have been $69, not $99.
Yeah, something like this.
There also, since we're talking about reverb right now, there is questions rolling in. Scambot asked, Eventide Shimmerverb is on sale for $99. What I think of that? I don't have it, but if it comes to Shimmerverb, I would always go Valhalla. Yeah. Valhalla Shimmer. Yeah. First of all, it's not on sale, but it's still just $50, not $99. And we were talking about the Soundtoys bundle before, and Soundtoys also has this crystallizer plugin in the bundle if you get that, and if you combine that with reverb, you get all freedom with whatever type of shimmer you want to create. But even if you don't get Black Hole, by the way, because it's just $279, the Valhalla Shimmer has a Black Hole setting, so if that helps.
Yeah. Plus, if you want the original, you just have to get this.
Yeah, you show off.
No, I just have to do, because this is probably the most amazing reverb hardware device. I mean, from that era, that started off with that shimmer sound. This is what they tried to simulate, and I just did like these comparisons when you do like Valhalla Shimmer, and then there's another plugin that does some kind of shimmer. Also the Black Hole, I'm not really sure right now, but they all try to simulate the Big Sky, and they really all fail. It's kind of, I mean, not that Big Sky sounds better, but it sounds like smooth. It sounds like the smooth version of what these plugins try to achieve.
Yeah.
I'm usually not that guy saying like,
analog like is best.
Hardware compressor, something like that manly hardware compressor, and then you hear like a difference in the mix or whatever. But if you listen to that Big Sky once and you just pull out the plugins, there is like a huge difference.
The Big Sky is like $329 or something, right?
Maybe they have a deal too. I don't know. It's
No, I'm not checking. I'm not checking. Big
I'm checking
Sky.
right now. I have to. The Strymon Big Sky. Actually, they renews. No, it's still 486. It's quite expensive. But
Okay,
it's
I'm safe.
definitely-
I'm safe.
The great thing is actually they released a new one. I just quickly have to get into that, and this reminds me, brings me kind of back to Christian Hansen, I think, from Spitfire. He did a walkthrough of their new hardware pedal, which is called the Nighttime Sky, and this thing is absolutely magic. I mean, just like doing that quick thing when it comes to hardware devices.
I haven't seen that. Got to check that out.
I'm just drifting off. It's called Strymon Night Sky Reverb. It's pretty new. Just check some videos on what it's able to do, and you're absolutely in love.
Talking about which, now you got to take over for a minute. I'll be back soon.
Okay, of course. Yeah, just if you guys like that, want to get into that pedal world, just talk about this for a second, because sometimes it's really like amazing to experiment around with pedals, because it's a different thing when you have something in between your fingers. You can just move while you record stuff, and it makes I can recommend it if you just, no matter if you just have like an old crappy distortion pedal or something going on from like a few years ago. It still sounds different than what you get with all kinds of plugins. So now it's my chance. I can just double look on both of these chat channels and try to answer your question. Yeah, Raum. Actually, talking about Raum, about the Native Instruments plugin, I always try to get it, and I think is it still for free? I'm not really sure. Native Instruments Raum. And I wanted to download it, but I couldn't get it because I think they announced it to be available for free. Now it's 28, though, so there's actually also a deal going on here. It's like 23 euros. And it sounds pretty cool from what I heard. I didn't try it, as I said, but from the videos that made me want to check it out and try it. Yeah, I think when they introduced it, Doodle Lord mentioned this right away. And by the way, Mattress, thank you so much for following. I didn't mention that before.
Everybody,
I think when they introduced it,
back. Everybody, very quiet right now.
Yeah, we were just listening, trying to, if we
that
hear
wasn't as loud.
I think you stepped on a dog right when you came in.
No, actually, he was crying because I left him inside.
Oh, poor guy. You should get him into the studio.
He is in the studio now. Well, actually, I left him in the studio because
okay, I got it.
They need to stay with me, and they don't want to.
Yeah, I actually want a dog too, but I'm not allowed with the house. But
Ooh, everybody say "oh" for Alex.
Yeah, we get it. You can all. Yes, I'm seeing like all my little avatars right now. So if you just you can.
Oh, by the way, your Twitch video has stopped on mine. I need to refresh the page. There we go.
Okay.
Oh, there we have. Oh, and they start with "oh" for Alex. That's nice. Yeah. You guys are so sweet. Oh yeah, right. Sonoscore has a free felt piano. Actually, it's 2.5 gigabyte in size. I just downloaded the one a few days ago. I wanted to check it in the stream, but I was not able to because my download took too long. But yeah, sonoscore.com, free felt piano if you guys are up for free stuff. That's, Black Friday doesn't get better than that. Sonoscore.
Sure. Actually, for a Sonoscore, anyway, of what they have for deals.
Oh yeah, we haven't even mentioned them. That's right.
I kind of feel bad of not doing it because I'm kind of like related to the company itself, which is
that's true. That's true.
Dynamedian guys, so they are all behind this, and
Elysian is actually on quite a 40% off. I think $229 instead. You get $137 for Elysian. That's quite a good deal. And the Orchestra 2 is not on sale, interestingly enough, but Strings of Winter is.
The Orchestra Complete 2, yeah, I think it's too new. I think it was like recently released.
But what you can do, you can grab the Orchestra, the original one, for $179 instead of $299, and then upgrade.
And then upgrade, right? So you probably save like $100 on that.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. But Strings of Winter, just talking about that, it reminds me because there are these awesome sounding Morin Coeur samples in there.
True that. These are amazing.
Yeah, like it sounds kind of like the barbaric versions of strings, and it's so absolutely amazing when you just layer these two. When you just want some real rough strings, but you want natural orchestral sounding stuff. For example, you could use like Nucleus staccato patches and put these Strings of Winter on top of it or below it, or however you want to mix it. You get some awesome barbaric sounding string sounds.
Just a question popping up, guys. If you want to jump back pretty much to the beginning of the video, we were talking about Berlin Orchestra Tools and their sales with 50% of the Berlin series, because I get a bunch of questions like, Alex, what do you think about the brass? What do you think about the strings? Absolutely solid libraries. It's the first time they are on sale that much ever. So if you, I really would suggest, because they are like 7, 8 years old now. That is not a bad thing at all. And they have constantly been updating their stuff. By the way, we haven't even mentioned Cinesamples once yet, so I want to look into that afterwards. But one more word to Berlin Strings and Orchestra Tools. I can't say anything about Berlin Brass because I don't have it, and once I got Junkie EXL, I didn't really feel the need to check out Berlin Brass as well. If I know one thing about the stuff that Orchestra Tools does, is that they sample very extensively and that they have a great room at hand to do so. So all the stuff that is recorded in Teldex sounds amazing, and you have the mic positions. You can go from pretty close to very wide and very roomy. It is absolutely worth the money. On the other hand, it really depends on if you have stuff a lot already, like you have 4 or 5 string libraries. I mean, you can never have enough libraries, we all know that, but
like snares.
right. But I mean, nobody can tell you, go ahead and buy Berlin series or go ahead and don't buy Berlin series. Nobody can do that. But 50% off is a pretty good thing that you will not see that soon again, I guess, on the Berlin series.
As I already mentioned, it's like the most detailed strings library that I know, because when you just check just like the Violins 1 sample folder, like the instrument folder, it's like this long, You get all kinds of stuff, and they painstakingly sampled all kinds of stuff. There may be some stuff for the orchestral purists. They say you don't have any, I don't know, concertino dancing around in moonlight and naked or something.
Naked. That was the most important thing about it.
Naked, right? So, but it covers a lot of stuff, and this is going on for each instrument. And as we already said, they have a specific ostinato and round robin legato samples for some programs.
Yeah, that's true. So it's the one of the most extensive string or overall orchestral libraries, that's for sure.
They have repetition samples. I forgot that before. They have repetition samples.
True, they have 16th and 8th and triplets, right? Yeah. And also one thing that many people tend to forget a little bit, we mentioned that also before, the cool thing is that when you get the whole bundle is that you have everything in the same room, so you don't need to worry about layering samples or combining the Spitfire Air Hall with the dry VSL samples or whatever. It just everything sits well together, and it's recorded in situ. So that means you have your strings there where they are supposed to sit, and that actually brings me to Cinesamples. Quickly mentioning them.
Sorry, one thing I want to mention. Just real quick.
Yeah,
just
of course.
because I just checked the violins folder, like the folder of all the articulations that's in there. In my opinion, there is one patch in there, and it's called a playable glissandi patch.
Yes, true.
If you know, for example, the Matrix score, and they have these scores, especially on that track on Burly Brawl or something, where they down, and then they have this hardcore glissandi. You can't play this with any library, but you can play it with these playable glissandi, and they sound best when you just swipe up and down the keyboard. Do like, if you use it like this, by just swiping up and down the keyboard, they sound exactly like if they have been recorded for the Matrix score. Plus, there is no library that can do this so far.
That's true, yeah.
Library. If there is one library that can do these glissandi like this,
especially so playable. I mean,
yes.
Pre-recorded phrasings, yeah, there are others, but as playable as these are, there's none other that I know of.
I don't know how they did that. When you just hit like a key, there is some kind of smear going on that kind of like sits on the note, so it sounds like as if they smeared around that note. But if you just move along the keyboard like that blue sky at the very end, from the solo.
But that's the same with their dig-in staccatos that are like played not wrong, but very dirty and very like sometimes a little bit next to the key. They have these what are they called? Dig-in staccatos? Forgot the name. These harder hit staccatos that are not always on pitch, but these are great as well. So not aleatoric, still very playable and very melodic, but a little bit off key, so to say. These are great as well. I just saw when I opened the Cinesamples website that they seem to have a 60% off all bundles just for 24 hours. That is a pretty insane deal. So, for example, the complete Cinebrass bundle instead of 900 something for 379. That's
really a steal.
That's actually quite a steal, right? So I happen to have, and I am not a beta tester for Cinesamples, so I really paid over the years for that. I have the full Sony Samples range, so to say, so the strings, brass, woodwinds, and the percussion. And I do have a dedicated template just for that when I say I want to have some stuff that sounds like recorded in the Sony stage.
Yeah.
And that is the same thing that applies to the Berlin series, or would apply to the Spitfire symphonic range, where you have all the stuff recorded at Air. There is,
or now at Abbey Road 1.
Or right? now at Abbey Road 1, correct. There is something very special about having all the instrument recorded in the same room. There is some kind of cohesiveness that you can hardly recreate with, or where you have a lot of more work to do to recreate that cohesiveness with different libraries. So Cinesamples is definitely, but also the same thing. I mean, now we come back what you mentioned before, we are professionals and working professionally in that field. It just happens that you build your library of sounds over time. And as I've mentioned before with the Berlin strings, for example, that I paid some serious bucks for, they just got lost along the way, and I don't use them the way I should use them for the price I paid for them. But the same applies to LA scoring strings. So these both alone are like 2.5K that you easily, or nearly 3K that you spend on that, and you don't use it as much. I mean, from LA scoring strings, I still just use the cello spiccatos, which could have been in the light version as well. Yeah. So, but I mean, in the end, it just happens that I think a carpenter has a lot of tools in the shed that he never touches in 10 years. But then someday a client comes along and says, I need that table made that way. And that carpenter reminds himself of that tool that is in the back of the shed lying unused for 10 years, but suddenly it finds its place. And the same applies to some of the libraries that you have. Yeah. So,
and there's also what is Cinebrass Pro? I think you had the monster brass in there. This was like the biggest sounding brass.
Cinebrass Pro is the monster brass. The only thing that comes close to it is the Audio Imperia low brass section. The laudium
Yes,
pure nucleus low
so-
brass is the only thing that comes close to that. But Cinesamples in the Pro version has the 12 horns. These are amazing. The 12 horns are one of the best out there. And what I love about Cinesamples, honestly, is that they constantly update their stuff. So even now, after I think 6 years of Cinebrass being out there, I still get updates. They are 1.8, I think, right now. The CineWins, I mean, I use wins way too little anyway in all my work. I should use them more.
Not on
But
purpose.
but what I really love about CineWins is the whole ethnic winds section. They have some great dudukes. They have a great Irish flute in there, and it sounds just gorgeous in that Sony stage and works great in the orchestral context.
I honestly have to say one thing that we already mentioned, like that you don't use a library because it gets too old and we constantly buy new stuff and blah, blah, blah. But I think what for me was unfortunately the problem with Cinesamples is that no matter how many times they upgraded or constantly made things better, I always had hanging notes in my during working, and it got really annoying to a point at one point. Maybe changed it with a new update that I didn't got, but at some point I seriously have to say I got tired of just working with them, because at some point you stopped your track and you heard like some kind of like a cluster in the background, and you just heard strings and brass, and every time it happened you've seen there was coming from some kind of a Cinescore channel, and this was really annoying to an amount that I just had to get rid of them and kicking them out of my template. Maybe it's better now, but to be honest, if you hear the samples in general, or the sound, if you love that, you can't get past.
The Dennis Sands mix are it's Dennis Sands, So that is the guy who recorded all the scores that were recorded at the Sony stage. So it doesn't really get better than that. And the sample quality is amazing. I am not the biggest fan of their strings, I have to admit. Both in terms of sounds and in terms of articulations that they have sampled and that the whole package includes. I do have the full version, but there's no minor version or whatever. There's just one version, strings core. But I'm not a biggest fan of the strings. It's just what it is. It just happens. So it's same as you listen to the radio and just realize you're not really a fan of what's running right now on the channel. So
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
you go ahead.
I just wanted to say, Rusty Grand Chevy in my chat just said something completely different. Do you think Damage 2, but since we already covered this, do you think Damage 2 is a good addition to Cerberus, Arc 3, and Jaeger in case of percussion? So what would you say, Dirk?
That is a tough question. I mean, obviously there is a lot of overlap between these aforementioned. So Cerberus is, I guess, a little more direct, a little more in your face. Arc is more the granddaddy, I would say, more behaved, round, and big. So to say, is not really necessarily epic. I think, I personally, from what I use and what I daily use for my work, I think that Damage 2 is a great addition to that whole thing.
Yeah, same here. I would say like Damage 2 is like the Hollywood, the noble, kind of like new library. Plus, you can use it with Cerberus, especially Cerberus, because it's very dry in your face and punchy. So if you just want to put a little bit more emphasis, let's say, on Damage 2, and you don't simply want to make it more dry or more direct, or you don't want to put any, transition designer on it or whatever, you can still mix it with Cerberus and all the other libraries. So this is, in my opinion, like percussion libraries are like snares for a drummer. As I said before, you can never have enough.
Yeah, true.
It's like percussion library, give it to me. The same with Dago. Surprisingly, I just wanted to mention that there is not a deal. I checked it before, but Orchestral Tools Dago is just $79 anyway, and it's called Chinese theater drums. But it's so absolutely amazing. It doesn't sound like anything out there. Totally different. can't even compare it with something. But if you just use it in combination with, for example, Damage 2 or Cerberus, it sounds even more amazing.
Didn't they
Plus
do
it's
that in
also-
the same session with Phoenix? I mean, when I saw their video that they did when they recorded the stuff over there, they went to that
did they
Chinese
do the
theater with
same-
all these huge drums. So is that source material derived from there, like
No,
big taikos,
no.
or?
I think it has been recorded entirely different, but it just came out during that same time.
Oh, okay.
So people, mixed up like Mulan, not Mulan, Phoenix, with, like, because it's a Chinese orchestra, traditional orchestra, that also Chinese theater drums that it was like. But I think it's, as far as I know from the website, and they mention it somewhere in the video, it has been recorded entirely different from the project. But disregarding that it's called Chinese theater drums, it's like really, really amazing and suitable for trailer stuff too, because they have a design section in there that sounds really amazing.
Sorry, my beer just
worry.
let me yawn. Sleeping away here on stream. That would be great.
Just talking. At some point, you see Dirk like heads falling over him.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit jet lagged. No, it's all good. So just some comments from the chat here on my end. Joshua Bell Violin Essential is 50% off. That's true. I think that's a 49 very good string solo violin library that you get there. Embertone has a lot of 50% anyway. Then Scambot just mentioned that's very true. Toontrack does a lot of Black Friday sales, partly up to 70% off for a lot of their MIDI packs or expansion libraries for the drums. So if you have Easy Drummer, I think 6 years
Oh, you
ago.
said the evil word, MIDI pack.
I think 6 years ago I grabbed Easy Drummer 2, or no, it was Easy Drummer, the first version back then, for $29. So sometimes it really, by the way, in regards to Toontrack, oftentimes, depending on where you are in the world, check the Sweetwater website, the US Sweetwater website.
Oh.
They sell licenses for Toontrack usually for $10 or $20 cheaper than Toontrack, the website itself.
Mm-hmm.
Just as
Maybe
a side
they
note.
get a discount for buying more from them.
I don't know how they do it, but yeah, Toontrack is usually
virtual.
Toontrack is usually more expensive than third-party retailers.
But it's probably the tax or anything, that they. I don't know, but maybe it's something to do with the country tax or anything. I don't know. But Toontrack, I'm just reading that from Matthew.
Yeah, is Toontrack nice?
Nice. I don't know them personally. No, but to be serious for a second, it's like there is actually one my go-to drum library. It's called Modern Massive by the
GGD?
Get Good Drums, by the Periphery guy who actually also recorded Nolly. I mean Archetype Nolly, the Neural DSP guitar plugin, and this is my go-to like Modern Massive, but Toontrack got like probably the top, drum libraries, especially Superior 3. If you're looking for anything, no matter if it's djenty metal 8-string guitar stuff or country or jazz fusion something, they got it all covered in there. It's really like a great library. I can definitely recommend.
Although I have to admit one thing, I mean that's pretty clever from a marketing perspective and from a sales perspective. Superior 3 really starts to shine only with the expansions. So the core library that you get with Superior 3 is a little bit meh. It's okay. You can get some nice stuff, and even if you're, especially when you fit in drum mixing, I mean, you can make kannst einen Scheiß einmal gut klingen lassen. We will not translate that. So if you know how to mix drums, you can make a subpar library sound great when you know how to treat them. But for a great sound out of the box, I think that the Superior Drummer 3 core library is a little bit tame, for lack of better words. But if you look at the extensions, like I did a stream with the Hansa Rooms, that is an amazing library, and also the metal expansion, the rock drums, whatever it is. I forgot the actual name right now. And these big expansions for Superior 2 are usually around $100, $120. I think they're on sale right now as well. This is really where Superior starts to shine, because these add-on packs sound significantly better than the core library.
Yeah, the core library just tries to do everything in terms of commercial stuff. But if you want to really go into that, I mean, that's what you get, like, dedicated people like NeuroDSP go into that metal stuff. It's like the GG guy, Get Good Drum guys, GGD guys going into metal drums because of the, being the periphery guys. And they recorded probably all with Matt, the drummer. I forgot his last name. It's embarrassing.
Halpern.
Yeah, right. Matt Halpern. He probably recorded, except I think he didn't record Modern Massive, but you get like the P4, like periphery, not confuse it with Pandora, a Symphonia 4.
Sorry, he also did a MIDI pack.
Yeah, right.
the Matt Halpern MIDI pack.
Yes, and I definitely recommend getting this, because if you're looking for some sophisticated cymbal playing and some great drum grooves, definitely get like the Matt Halpern MIDI packs, because you can't make this stuff up. It's too complicated. You really need to understand. I was fortunate enough to live in LA with two drummers. We were three guys living in our apartment back then, in our flat. And I was living together with two drummers. So obviously we had all different rooms. Don't get that wrong. But
sorry to interrupt. Your room is just in the chat. Room Canal. I just wrote, look, two of my fiercest rivals on the stream. Whilst you two are occupied, now's my chance to take over the internet. Go ahead, Room. Try it.
Virtually try to push our heads together.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, but I forgot what I was to say. Yeah, I was fortunate enough to get you into that little bit of like the basic stuff of like when a drummer is playing a fill or doing like these things that they eventually don't hit on the snare when they play two toms or something, That's when you see like a lot of, everybody tries to get fit, when it comes to orchestral arrangement and all these things. But then you hear like drum arrangements, and then suddenly you're like, oh, how can he play like a 16th hi-hat like this when you have on the same time like an alternating drum thing going on here, like you hear 16th here, and then it's like, it's really, really necessary, I think, when you just want to create authentic rock or rock pop sounds. Just try to get a little bit into it. This is why I think MIDI packs, especially for like the Matt Halpern one, the drums are really essential to learn something.
By the way, for DocuScores, we're working on a like pop punk album right now. That late 2000s Avril Lavigne style poppy punk rock. And Toontracks has an expansion for Easy Drummer, punk rock, OC, Orange County, punk rock. You got to check that out. You don't even need to mix it. You put that on and it instantly sounds like Blink-182, Avril Lavigne, that kind of style. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah. And it was funny enough, it was recorded like 3 blocks down from where I lived in OC. So that was right around the corner, so to say, and it's that true Orange County punk rock sound, and that's a great library, and I'm pretty sure it's on sale right now. And when there is a sale, these expansions I think are $79 or euros each. So definitely highly recommended if you want to do some pop punk style. This library kills it.
Okay, definitely have to check that out. Don't make me spend more money. I'm actually fortunate enough right now that I just have to check out the. I just have it still. Still have it open here. The Shadow Hills compressor.
Yeah, right. We, if I remember from the chat, I think we sold it to 3 guys already. So we should make a deal with Plugin Alliance on that.
Yeah, we should go around with our head off, like going to all the companies doing like this. Give us our royalties.
Well, or you just head over to Alex's shop and just spend some money there. He's ultra cheap right now, $2 each. You know, that's will not come back till next year. Next year, I can promise you, will be $3 each.
Yeah, you get how it goes. Now you have to buy everything because next time it will be 3, then it will be 4, then it will be 5. And then the funny thing starts because then it will be like the $6 deal, which will be actually more expensive than the libraries I already have on there for 5. So you see where this is heading for.
Yeah, of course. That's German craftsmanship right there.
Right. So just taking over the world with just one library. No, just kidding. And my beer doesn't contain alcohol, so to say. And I just had one bottle.
Mine does. That's why we slowly need to come to an end.
Like before your head drifts off behind the chair somewhere. So it's like...
Ruben is just asking $2 for a MIDI pack?
Yeah.
That's actually way cheaper.
Oh, yeah, Ruben asked it.
That's actually way cheaper than my MIDI packs. How dare you?
Yeah.
No, anyway, what I wanted to say is there was another question on Afflatus. Yes, we have covered Afflatus already, and we will kind of slowly come to an end with talking about all the libraries out there. One last thing, Alex, this is going to be tough. $300. Where do you spend them?
This question... I probably 10 Shadow Hills compressors.
So you can use them on multiple channels. You clever
right.
little thing, you.
Am I amazing? I'm just buying several plugins. You just spin it, you know. To be honest, if I would say something, and it sounds kind of like, how can you say this? But to be honest, I just one day before, that kind of shows my love for how much I wanted to have that sound, was ironically Spitfire Audio, the Abbey Road 1, because I absolutely love that sound. I had the chance to be there when even the London Symphonic Orchestra recorded for that session we worked on, like 2013, 2014, something. And I just fell in love with that room. I mean, everybody does when it comes to that Hollywood sound, you know, Harry Potter, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings. So I would probably spend this entire money on an Abbey Road 1, disregarding if it's on purchase, on sale right now or not.
Yeah, I'm just reading what...
But it already happened like a day before, so
yeah,
maybe we can...
Right.
Kind of time zone thing.
We did forgot one of my favorites, and I think one of yours too. The Cinematic Studio series, so Cinematic Studio Strings and Cinematic Studio Brass is on sale. So Cinematic Studio Strings for $2.99 is actually quite a steal. So that's really good. I don't know if Cinematic Brass is. Let me quickly check that if Cinematic Brass is on sale. Well, this is definitely one of the contenders we have to mention in the sale range. So did you actually answer the $300 question? No, you didn't.
Oh, I thought I just came around that.
I bought Spitfire Abbey Road. Cinematic Studio Strings. That's what they call it.
What would I say? You know, the thing is, I didn't really. Most of the stuff we currently talked about, I already own in a sense.
Yeah, same here. We just stream too much and get too much free shit.
Yeah.
So 25% off is Cinematic Studio Series.
Yeah. Until 3rd of December.
And they still don't have released the woodwinds. How dare they?
What a shame.
I mean, not that I would write with woodwinds, but...
Yeah, you don't need them. I don't need to spend like $300 for woodwinds.
But honestly, next to Junkie XL, Cinematic Brass is my second next go-to after Junkie.
Sorry, which one is your go-to?
I said Cinematic Studio Brass is my second go-to after Junkie XL.
Yes, definitely. This is the two actually that I have in the template at, like the highest position, so to say.
Me
like
too, how funny.
Sorry?
Me too, how funny.
Yeah. What color does your brass have? Is it blue?
No, my brass is yellow because brass is
Oh, shit.
yellow. I
No,
mean,
brass is blue.
It's gold, so yellow, and strings are
Oh,
green.
it's blue. Strings are green.
Blue is woodwinds.
No, red.
No, red is vocals. We need to align that.
Yeah. Just maybe mix the colors and create something new when we do the channel, so everybody's happy.
So let's quickly check the last comments in the chat. Ruben, $2 for me, Black Friday deal 50%. You have forgotten CSS? No, we have not yet, but thanks Dompro for the reminder. So we have covered that. Waves have a sale too. That is like no news there. Waves always have a sale. And Ruben, anyone who's wondering about Aflatus, hit me up on Facebook. I help with the update, so I might be able to answer questions. That is very nice of you to offer that, Ruben. The other option would be just to watch my stream from 2 days ago. And then we have, I think that's it. Plenty of beer to cover the dryness. That sounds good.
Yeah.
What about ATO Century Brass 2.0? Well, we quickly talked about ATO. So they have 55% off everything in their shop. So that's
they have a little
nice.
asterisk on it. So you want to make sure if it's really like also applied. Because I think it doesn't apply to all libraries.
Maybe they just raised the prices 55% beforehand.
Yeah, something like this.
Bad boy. No, that wasn't that nice. No, yeah. They really, ATO has great stuff. The thing is, I have just stopped getting some ATO stuff in a while because I just felt I was covered. I had nearly everything that they had. And I mean, they try to push boundaries and doing even more lines of code and all that stuff. But in the end, what I care about is how it sounds and do I need it for my work, you know? And a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff I just felt is from the newer releases where how many brass and string libraries do you actually need, you know? So I was fortunate enough that they sent me Centauri strings and brass for a review and for a stream. So I'm thankful for that to get to check it. But oftentimes with these, like you and I do with these streams, I have a ton of libraries that sit not on an SSD, but on an HDD, which is kind of their death sentence. So when a library sits on an HDD, it will never be used again. And I have a ton of libraries that sit there that I just touch for a stream and then never touch again because they just don't fit into the regular workflow. And the same thing that even happens with libraries we don't get, so to say, for free. But it happened to libraries that I paid serious money for, and they still get lost along the way because sometimes at some point you just decide, okay, I work with that. This is my sound, or this is the sound that I prefer the most. Maybe you have 2 or 3 different sound choices, like I mentioned, when you have the Sony stage template with Cinesamples. When I do have the whole Cinesamples range, and when I have a project that calls for that Hollywood Sony stage sound, then I just grab that template and I know it works right out of the box and it sounds like that. But that happens once or twice a year that I need that sound, you know, and the other times it sits idle on the drive.
And another reason is when you have like libraries that's sitting on the shelf, you know, or eating dust, as I call it, like, or on the HDD. That's why I find, for example, the performance stuff so, you know, kind of like refreshing, because as their Caspian stuff got released, or the flute shorts, these were really like bringing some fresh, how do you say, like fresh air into the room, because you were able to play, or the angry brass, you can just play it and you have staccato and the sustain. And also, I also was happy about, you know, Junk XL brass, that I was able with a sign player to configure or to use whatever I want. I hate key switches. I really have to say this. I goddamn hate key switches, because I don't think I can create kind of like convincing patterns with just alternating in between sustain, marcato, and staccato samples. I just have to have them all available at once. And coming back to performance samples, this is what I really love about them, because you can just play a full chord, or Oceania 2. You just play the full chord and you have a full choir going, rather than sitting down and tweak stuff, you know, and making it more complicated with more lines of code, as you already said before.
Yeah, true. Someone asked me, I actually went around that too, so we both didn't really answer the 300 euro question. And I actually want to specify that a little more. I want to give two answers to that. 300 euros when you don't have much stuff going on, and 300 euros when you cover it in the bases, so to say. Or in the basics, not in the bases. I only have bases. I always buy just the low end. No, so if you don't have much going on, I think the best bang for the buck for 300 euros right now is Nucleus, with nearly half off. So if you don't have many libraries in your arsenal and you're kind of starting out, I think Nucleus is one of the greatest starter packages that is available out there to get you kind of the best of both worlds, with being able to write classic orchestral mockups with woodwinds, brass, and strings and percussion, but also dip your feet into like trailer territory and go into the more hybrid approach and get a little more beef out of the library. Because of their, I mean, am I wrong there? Nucleus has the modern and classic setting as well, right? With the mixing.
Yes, right.
Yeah,
exactly.
so you get the modern hybrid type of sound and the classic orchestral sound. So I think $300 are, if you're starting out, are spent very well in that regards.
And is Nucleus the full 300?
Nucleus was I forgot.
Wasn't it like 200 something? Because then I would say if you just really want to go for it and create something more custom, which I always feel is like the most important thing, to have some kind of a custom sound. So I would always make sure to just, kind of like layer a library you already have. And I would say as an add-on, if you still have some bucks flying around somewhere in your room, I would probably go for Orchestral Essentials 1 to just layer Nucleus, to get like an even fuller sound.
No, but you're like, out of line. Nucleus is $299, so you have $1 more to spend.
$1 more. You can get half of my libraries.
You can get half an Alex Pfeffer library. That's awesome. Well, maybe the string Nucleus. We spend $301 and get the MIDI pack for the Nucleus strings. No, but
to be serious, I would say Nucleus too.
Yeah, definitely. But I totally get what you're saying. So it definitely worth to, if you want to go more into the classical orchestration type of stuff, it might be a good idea to, like you say, even Orchestra Tools Inspire or Project SEM Orchestral Essentials, these kind of entry-level libraries that are in the same vein. But right now, Nucleus for me is the best bang for the buck at that pricing with an entry-level library. Talking about if you have your basic needs sorted, like let's say you have a decent string library. It doesn't matter if it's Cinematic Studio Strings or Nashville or LA Scoring Strings or Berlin. Any of these types, so you don't need a dedicated brass string whatever library and just want to have $300 to spend this Black Friday on upping your game. Let's put it like that. Where would you put your money there? I mean, that's tougher to answer than the entry level one, but still, kind of what gives you a special sound? What is on sale that gives you something more out of the regular libraries, the layer stuff, so to say?
Yeah, I would probably go for the organic libraries, like Mosaic Bass, Mosaic Tape. And I would just check, I just probably go through one of my drives here, because recently I should have said some library that I recently got. Oh,
right. Don't advertise your MIDI packs again.
So what I really liked, really refreshing, is Elysium. I did a review on that also. And
White Blue Sound, right? The new one.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And let me just sort the other. I just have to go through my sample drives and just sort them by date. Oh, right. And Sounds from Hell. I mean, especially if I'm a trailer or in the licensed music genre, or when it comes to battle music for video games, I really loved Sounds from Hell for the ambience underscore and the hits and transitions, because there was something new happening, and it totally gave me that organic sound that I'm usually after when you are covered with all kinds of percussion, libraries, orchestral libraries, and also let's say the pure soft synth, like repro or something. These are not I don't consider these organic samples or organic sounds. It's like just straight synth stuff, like the Matrix Brute or anything.
Totally
So I love
with you there. Yeah.
these sound design things. Yeah.
So my guess would be if you had $300 to spend and have the organic orchestral stuff bases covered, I think Devastator might be a good idea to invest in, because of the depending on the style you want to go for. If you go for epic trailer type of sound, Devastator is definitely a staple of what you could have in your arsenal, and right now with a 30 or 40% off, it's a nice deal for sure. That can get you a good ton of mileage out of the stuff there.
Yeah, I consider Devastator anyway as a library that is always like that professional percussion library that sits there anyway.
I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand with Ferrum. I don't know if Ferrum is on sale. I was actually totally surprised but Ferrum does only one thing, but this thing extremely well. So that is even more specialist tool in the tool set than Devastator is. So if we keep it more general, Devastator is definitely worth to up your game in the, for lack of better words, in the trailer territory. Let's put it there. So I would think so too. On the other hand, I'm with you. Not necessarily going into another string library, but rather extending the sound choices with the Mosaic series from Heaviosity. That's some great stuff in there. Also, maybe looking into some smaller type of developers like the Ben Osterhaus strings. There's some amazing stuff there. The whole Loot Audio website, there's all these small contact developers. There's some real gems in there, but that is not necessarily bound to Black Friday, and we're still talking about that $300 investment.
Yeah, right.
But honestly, if you don't have it, and if you need to look into the percussion game, $299 for Damage 2 is an amazing pricing for a fantastic library.
Yeah.
For me, one of the best releases in 2020. And if you don't have it, and have the basics covered and don't have Damage 2, I think I would put my $300 there.
Dude, you got 300 monies.
Give me all the monies. Give me all the monies.
Yeah.
So that would be my bet.
Reply. I'm seeing that thoughts on recent DAW updates from Studio One and Cubase. I mean, I obviously can't talk about Cubase, but I think the 5.1 update for Studio One definitely brought it into the direction of becoming like the ultimate go-to digital audio workstation.
Ultimate is such a strong word.
Yeah, I mean, every digital audio workstation is as good as you are. But yeah, if they get the video done, I think they pretty much covered with doing all the the features when it comes to MIDI, and also has a great audio engine. But I don't go for Cubase 11 because I'm kind of like, I don't know.
I got the update for Cubase 11, and there is some neat stuff in there. I'm really furious about the fact that the Supervision plugin that they introduced in Cubase 11 is not available as a third-party plugin for other DAWs, because if I could have Studio One with a Supervision from Cubase, that would be awesome. Because this one is truly great. This one works really good. But I agree with you. Studio One is right now hard to beat. It's I tried to jump back to Cubase 11 for the last 2 streams, and it kind of even felt strange already. So I love Cubase. I have always loved it, but Studio One is just so snappy, so more fresh, So
I think the main point for me was because of everything being able to drag and drop. Even if you have an empty template, you can just quickly get all that stuff in there. And even if you just want to have the instruments you want to have, there is not some funny media bay that I never understood anyway. And then going back to Cubase, and then they had this sidebar where they just wanted to introduce something like the sidebar in Studio One, but it doesn't work because you always have to go back to that settings folder. It doesn't keep the settings. Every time you close and reopen Cubase, it goes back to that starting folder with the VST instruments and all that stuff. And the plugin and the basically the menu, you can't define a folder as root as you can in Studio One.
Stefano just mentioned I know that Stefano has been working on Cubase quite a lot. He said that Cubase 11 performs way better. I have to admit that I had the same feeling, because the main reason for me to switch to Studio One was that I had like just 2/3 of the performance needs that Cubase had in my template. So Studio One was like 1/3 less consumptive of performance. So that was the main reason for me, because I just could do more without running into issues with playback issues or cracks or whatever. Cubase 11 seems to be better in that regard. Seems to not be as extensive as Cubase 10.5 was. But again, I just feel that Studio One feels more snappy, but there's also some stuff that I still miss from Cubase. I have to be honest there. So they have been just in the game a little longer and they know their game.
Yeah.
So they are a little bit like the old guy, sometimes a little slow, but he knows his shit, And Studio One is like the young guy jumping around all the time and being faster, and sometimes maybe lacking the experience on some parts.
But what I feel self-confident with is like the Presonus team. They slam out all these. I mean, look how long Studio One exists and like Cubase exists. And I sometimes feel like Cubase has gone up, like, with the development, and then something was released and I was like, oh God, really? And then it went down like this, then the performance became messy. Then they had to recode, blah, blah, blah. And I still think, at least I think so, I believe so, there is still some old code in there that they don't want to touch.
You're totally right there. The basic core of Cubase is still more than 20 years old, but they definitely have some hangovers that have grown throughout the years. It's not like Studio One that 4 or 5 years ago set out to write something complete from scratch. Cubase has been developed more and more, and there is definitely some stuff that is older and maybe also slowing down things. I can totally imagine it's not as easy to rewrite a program like this from scratch or do it completely anew. This is an insane task. So they have to work with some old habits or old Überbleibseln.
Yeah, some remnants, right?
Correct. But anyway, if I were to do a feature film right now, I would still rely on Cubase. I have to be honest. This is something that Cubase is still superior in.
If it comes to video work, cutscenes or anything, also for the last game trailer I worked on, which is still not released, then I was just heading for Cubase because, simply video is working better in Cubase. And Studio One does it too, but I don't want to deal around with offsets. Offset times, just delay the video, and not being able to cut somewhere, like you get like a new version of the video, and then they introduce like a black intro, which is like 2 seconds because there will be some logo going on that hasn't been designed yet or whatever, just some black empty whatever. You just want to cut it and start the video exactly where you want it before. You can't do that in Studio One because you don't see the video file. And every cheap software, every Magic's Music Maker shows you the video track. And but Studio One, the Presonus guys needs to work on that. But I really love all the integration that's happening. Also, I love the Atom SQ, I'm using that as a keyboard right now. It's really, really great to use and got lots of features that I really love about it. So, yeah. But I just have to think. I just have to get to the restroom again for a second.
Well, actually,
Or
I was about to
we-
say. I mean, we had a great circle and circling and finishing off with DAWs
Yeah.
after talking about plugins and libraries and all that good stuff. I think we can really bring this thing across the finish line here.
Yeah,
I think it was a
totally.
really fun talk, and I thank all you guys out there for commenting and leaving your questions, because this is what drives this whole thing forward. But I mean, we're close to 3 hours going strong here. Thanks, Alex, for the stamina to push through that. But I mean,
thank you.
it's Black Friday out there, and I mean, you know how it is. The deals are going crazy, and Christmas is even across the line. On the other side of Black Friday. So somebody mentioned multiple times that Sonic Kinetic is doing their 12 days of Christmas. So keep your eyes peeled for the deals out there. It's the best time in the year for sure for us to spend our hard-earned money from the year. I hope you had some fun and some insights. I definitely think it was a nice conversation. Thanks, Alex, for doing this. And let us know in the comments. Let us know in the comments. By the way, what do you think of the format? Like one guy on Twitch and one guy on YouTube. If that's something that's feasible. That was a first for us as well to do it like that. So if we do that again in the future, we are thankful for every kind of feedback or suggestions on how to improve this kind of format.
Definitely.
It was very, very great to talk to you and talk about all that stuff that's going on out there with these crazy deals.
Yeah. And thank you so much for having the idea in general. You know, if you wouldn't have approached me and asking and getting this going, maybe I would have pizza tonight.
Sorry, I Pizza gebracht.
We have it tomorrow, but I'm just this just came to my weird mind. But it's definitely a great idea. We should do that way more often, doing like a combo stream, you know?
Yeah, especially since we're now in the same time zone, it's more easy to do so.
Definitely. That will be a great thing for sure.
Thank you, guys.
So,
Thank all you Twitch viewers and followers, and thanks all you guys on YouTube. Again, leave a comment below. Check out Alex's shop, which is store.alexpfeffer.com.
Yeah, and check out Dirk's store. But I just have to cinematictutorials.com.
Composing tutorials.
Composing tutorials, and I just confused it with all the Cinesample cinematic.
It's all good. It's all good. I think the same applies. The same applies to you as for me. We have all the necessary links under our YouTube videos and Patreon and following and chats and giving away money and just hugging virtually and whatever. It's all available there. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we see you next time. Alex on his channel and I on mine. I'm pretty sure that wasn't the last stream of that type of kind.
Yeah, definitely. I can already say that. Would love to do the next one soon.
Okay, sounds good. Cheers, guys, and see you soon.
Okay. Ciao, everyone.